government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. The idea that Los Angeles and what am I doing here? For two reasons. One, we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way. But the nature, not a solid meeting with they make a very good point. Here's the deal. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do, the drivers. We want to expand pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, millions of pre-K students. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America. Made in America.
I refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. I don't know. Is there even anybody here? Am I alone? Am I alone? Where is everybody? Oh, it does say there's a couple of you watching. Glad you're here. If you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. Like, share, do all those things. Get that algorithm up just a little bit. Hello. Hello, Miami Spice. How you doing, dear? Good to see you. I was looking around, and Kirk, how you doing? Glad you're both here. I was looking around before I actually started here, and I'm like, to see who else is actually going. And it looks like there's about 3 or 4 other people that actually have shows going right now. And I'm like, oh, that's where everybody's gonna be. They're not gonna go take off. They're not gonna go jump around and join other shows or whatever. They're gonna continue doing what they're already doing. They got their conversations going. So I don't know where America's Shirts is either. I haven't talked to him. Well, hopefully he comes popping himself in here shortly. I'm sure he's got some quick takes about a couple of things that we got going on. Started off, we're going to actually talk a little bit Putin and Zelensky for a short bit. There seems to be some interesting ceasefire that is actually potentially being talked about. So then, here you go. It says, breaking. Zelensky blasts Russian Orthodox Church, calls for Christmas truce as Putin orders ceasefire. I'm glad that I'm your only notification at this time. That's good. That's good. That means you're here as opposed to being anywhere else. There you go. Start that chant. America Shirts. America Shirts. Let's go, buddy. Let's do this. So this is on the eve of Christmas to the Russian Orthodox Church. Moscow's Patriarch Kirill called for a Christmas truce between Ukraine and Russia amid ongoing hostilities. The ask was for a 2-day ceasefire so that the faithful can attend Mass. Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to the short-term ceasefire. The leader of the war-torn nation of Ukraine balked at the idea of peace, and with Peldek, advisor of the chief of the staff, calling the call for a truce a cynical trap and an element of propaganda. Zelensky recently appeared in Washington to tell President Joe Biden and Congress that he needs more money for the war effort, as current U.S. spending levels on that conflict were not enough, which is freaking ridiculous. So let's go ahead and send him some more billions if the billions that we had already sent wasn't enough. So it's little letter says, I, Patriarch of Moscow and all Russia, appeal to all parties involved into internecine conflict to cease fire and to establish a Christmas truce from 12 o'clock on January 6th to midnight on January 7th. Read a statement from the Russian Orthodox Church. So potentially for a whole day-ish, whatever, a half a day, there would be an actual ceasefire. Actual ceasefire that would actually allow people to actually go and join their churches and actually go through some sort of mass. If I was living there, I'm not so positive that I'd even want to go and visit any of these churches. If I would want to do anything of the sort, in the wake of what's all happening, I'd be afraid that they would just us and be like, oh, well, we know where everybody's at, and just go and take out everybody at the same time. Since the Russian Orthodox Church is not an authority for global orthodoxy and acts like it's a propagandist of war, the Russian Orthodox Church has called for the genocide of Ukrainians, encouraged mass murders, and insists that even greater militarization of the Russian Federation. Therefore, the statement of the Russian Orthodox Church about the Christmas truce is a cynical trap and an element of propaganda, tweeted Polyak. President Vladimir Zelensky was angered at the Kurils' statement in the internecine conflict, which he believed was a disparagement of the Ukraine's sovereign national identity, based on the fact that the large number of citizens professing Orthodoxy live in the combat areas. We call the Ukrainian side to declare a ceasefire and give them the opportunity to attend services on Christmas Eve, as well as the day of Nativity of Christ. The Ukraine Orthodox Church split politically from the Moscow Patriarchy in May of 2022, specifically in opposition to Kirill, who they said supported the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Ukraine Orthodox Church determined that they were no longer subordinate to Moscow, but that the split was not a scheme. So, I mean, they're actually saying that this should be a legitimate time for people to actually be able to go and join their churches and be okay and be safe. What's up, Maddie? Good to see you. Good logic grade. Mini one, just you. Miss Dinga says, where art thou, America? Banana hammock? Yeah, right. I have no clue. No clue where he is. Just assume that he'd just show up here in a while here. Who's hope? Zelensky later urged lawmakers to pass legislation that would ban the Ukrainian Orthodox Church from the country. This is as Zelensky announces that Ukraine will participate in January's World Economic Forum in Davos and is in talks with the BlackRock CEO Larry Fink about the rebuilding of the nation after the war. A meeting in the National Security Defense Council was held today, a meeting in which it examined numerous facts and ties of certain religious circles in Ukraine and the aggressor state. It is necessary to create such conditions in which many figures dependent on the aggressor country will not be able to manipulate Ukrainians and weak Ukraine from within. The NDSC instructed the government to submit to Verkhovna Rada a bill in impossibility of the activities of religious organizations affiliated with the centers of influence in the Russian Federation and Ukraine. In September, Kirill told members of the church that the fighting in Ukraine in behalf of Russia had a spiritual upside, saying the sacrifice of the course of carrying out the military duty washes away all sins. Pope Francis of Rome cautioned Kirill against becoming Putin's altar boy. We know that many today are dying in the fields of the internecine battle. The church is praying that this battle will end as soon as possible, that as few brothers as possible will kill each other in a fratricidal war. The church realizes that if someone driven by the sense of duty and the need of honor his oath stays loyal to his vocation and dies while carrying out a military duty, then he is, without any doubt, doing a deed that is equal to sacrifice. The Russian Orthodox Church is the largest in Eastern Orthodox tradition, which split from Catholicism in 1054. It sounds kind of like there could be some bad happenings that could occur. If I just really I'd set in the air caution, when it would come to actually going and joining your church in any way, shape, or form, when they're actually saying, okay, we'll ceasefire so that you can actually do so. I really kind of very disturbing. And to me, hello, how you doing, Miss Dinger there? It kind of disturbing in itself that anybody would actually think that it would be okay to actually go to church, which let's hope that they can actually do what they need to do. But it kind of sounds like there could be some, uh, something, some kind of a trap behind it. It really does. It's kind of scary and disturbing to actually think that you wouldn't be able to actually do such a thing. Though they are calling for a ceasefire, that ceasefire was supposed to be between was it noon January 6th to midnight on the 7th. So they would actually give them uh, that 12-hour window to actually go and go to church for what they would call their Christmas. Um, Kind of disturbing that they're actually that's the small window that they're actually given, if they're allowed to actually do so without worrying about any kind of disturbance from the war that's ongoing. Thought that was kind of interesting and figured I would kind of hit on that a little bit and kind of shed some light on it for what it is. I mean, there's not a lot that you can actually cover when it comes to Ukraine that we hadn't already covered in the past. It seems like everything is still the same as it had been, and I'm really kind of concerned that even though uh, the United States has sent all of our tax dollars, as many as they possibly could, to them, really kind of disturbing to actually figure out what they're actually going to do when it comes down to it. Let's go, American shirts. So then, bring you to the United States. We'll cover some stuff here. There's a couple different things that had happened within the last day or two through President Biden and the stuff that he's doing. He actually had a little conversation where he held a little speech where he needed some assistance. He needed some assistance from his vice president that he likes to call President Harris. It says dementia Joe Biden needs help from Kamala Harris to complete sentence after again calling her President Harris. There is a slight video in here. Calls her President Harris. He does this all the time. It's so stupid that he doesn't even know who he is. He thinks that maybe he thinks that he's still vice president. Something. I have no clue what's going on with that. Pastor, how's it going? Sitting over on the Rumble side says, "Hey nerds, wife is doing a live stream, so I'm supporting her right now. We'll get back here if y'all still are on after midnight. Here is your Plussy. Thank you for crushing that Plussy. Yeah, thank you so much. Everybody else that's actually sitting over here on the YouTube side, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. And of course, continue to chant for America's shirts, see if he actually doesn't finally show up. Oh, did I even? I played the video and I didn't even have it up. Boomer. Anyway, it says Joe Biden spoke Thursday at the White House in his new border security measures before his trip to El Paso on Sunday. During his remarks, Biden once again called Kamala Harris President Harris. Afterward, as he left the room with the Harris in tow, CNN reporter Jeremy Diamond called out a question to Biden and whether he was still following the speaker vote in the House of Representatives. Biden turned to answer, but got lost in the middle of his response and asked Harris for help. Harris supplied a word to finish the sentence, which Biden then repeated. So here's the one where he actually calls her president. Just play this. And now it wants me to.
I'm not being facetious. Well, President Harris led this effort to make things better.
He just loves to call her President Harris. He likes to fuck up so much. And I swear that there's something so damn wrong with this guy. Yet we're all just like, oh, it's okay. He can be president. He's fine. No, he's not fine. He's not fine. In any way, shape, or form. He's not fine. There's something totally wrong with him. Says Jeremy Diamond, are you still monitoring the speaker's race? Joe Biden says, I'm following with great, how do I say it? Kamala says, attention? He says, attention. What? Are you kidding me?
Thank you so much.
Are you still monitoring the speaker's race? Are you still watching the speaker's race?
I'm following with great how can I say it? Attention.
And then they laugh about it. They laugh about it like it's okay. Like it's funny that he actually, how do I say, attention. Yep. With great attention. That's what he's doing. He's actually following the speaker's race with great attention. It's so disturbing how ill this man really is. Yeah, dementia overload. Yeah, exactly. He had too many thoughts going through his head already. He didn't take enough medicine or something before he actually went up and actually did the speech to actually say anything else after he was done. So several White House reporters posted that Biden's response to the Diamond's question, including Diamond himself, one reporter neglected to post an important detail. Diamond, I asked Biden if he's still monitoring the speaker's race. I'm following with great, he said, pausing. And then she says attention, and it says, Henry repeats it. This is Bloomberg's Jennifer Jacobs asked if he's still monitoring the GOP leader Kevin McCarthy battle in U.S. House Speaker, which is stupid in itself. It's not McCarthy's battle. That's not what we're doing. That's not what it is. It has nothing to do with McCarthy whatsoever. McCarthy should step the fuck down and actually allow things to continue the way they had been. For them to actually think that it's his race to be run is wrong. It's not McCarthy's battle. It's not McCarthy's race. It has nothing to do with it. What it has to do with is us as United States citizens. It has nothing to do with him. He is to actually do what we want. He's our representative. He's not his own representative. That's not what it is. Fox News' Jackie Heinrich, VP Harris bails out POTUS and almost comments in the speaker's face with half a smile. Biden says, they repeat it again. There it is. Every single time. All these articles all do the same stupid shit. Let's repeat it one more time. Can we repeat that one more time? Because, if you didn't think that he didn't have dementia, let's make it sound like we all have dementia on top of it. So that way, we all can actually sound just as sick and disturbing as he does. That's pretty much the way it sounds to me. Is, well, if we continue to do that, it's okay. It's okay, because then it makes it sound like he's just fine. Hey, Rose, how you doing, dear? Madcore mofo. What's up, brother? What's up? How's it going? So then, kind of move on a little bit. Victor, how's it going, brother? Happy New Year to you. Glad that you actually come around. If y'all haven't already, please hit that like button over on that YouTube side. If you're over on the Rumble side, hit that plusy button. Do all those fun things to actually make it worthwhile. Because that's what you're supposed to do. So then, 20 minutes. Come on, America Shirts. Where are you, brother? So then here you go. Fetterman breaks the internet after he appears lost during the swearing in. I mean, like he didn't look lost to begin with. Does he actually need to actually be look lost at any other point in time? He's so many people that are part of anything right now, any part of Congress, president, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you are that lost, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Super V, how's it going, dude? Good to see you. Glad you're here. So this is the good news for John Fetterman is that we have learned he does own clothing other than hoodies. But a video of the new Pennsylvania Democrat senator showed him being sworn in this week as he kept looking at his wife, Gazelle, in what appeared to be him seeking direction. The only words Senator Fetterman spoke were the quiet thank you to Vice President Kamala Harris as his wife moved the family into position for photos and he stayed silent. Despite his large public profile, Fetterman made his large public profile? You mean that growth on the back of his neck? Fetterman made no formal public comments as he took office and did not meet the reporters. Here you go. Here's this little video. You can see that he seriously, puts himself in, in everything that he does. He looks at her. He looks at his wife for direction on everything. Who do you think is actually running this part of the show? Her?
Congratulations, Senator. Congratulations. And then the whole family? Or are we going to do the three of us? Okay.
And again. And 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Hi, family. Do you remember we talked on a FaceTime? You remember that? Good. Hi. Congratulations.
Right in front of me. Gracie's in front of me. Congratulations. There we go.
All right, guys. So just look this way for me. All right. Right here. Big smile. And just have your hands down on your sides, nice and relaxed. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
They had to take a serious of them just in case they didn't get some weird, creepy looking thing. The whole thing is creepy, right? Exactly, Mr. Go. It's just so creepy. It's so strange. The whole thing. Just like, do you remember when we FaceTimed that one time? Yeah, that was so fun. What? That's how you talk to children? Okay. I just it just blows my mind on how stupid people can actually be and think that it's okay for them to be so stupid and run for such a prestigious place of office. Let's see here. What a perfect representative of Clown World 2023. Exactly, Matthew. Red Hoodwinked, how you doing? I see you over there in that Rumble side. Says I'm surprised that you even voted him in the first place. Definitely the definition of meat puppet. Fetterman is. Yep, yep, meat puppet. That's probably the best word for him. After he won his election to Senate against Republican Mehmet Oz, a Fetterman advisor has admitted after his victory that he will not be able to perform his job as normal. What? He won't be able to perform his job as normal? Why? Why not? Is he that stupid? Is he that much of quote unquote a meat puppet? I, what is it that he can't actually do his regular job with? I don't get it. Spotted in the Senate basement, John Fetterman. He didn't answer when I asked if he'll be able to wear his hoodie on the Senate floor. No, you can't wear a hoodie on the Senate floor. Just no. Don't make that a normal thing. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see somebody actually be able to do such a thing. This is two things we need to get out of the way. One, John Fetterman has a suit and will wear it to the Capitol. Yeah, okay, he has a suit. Is that what's going on? He has a suit. He is still recovering from a stroke and has lingering auditory processing challenges. The way Hill reporters are used to yelling questions at senators will not work here. No yelling. You don't get to yell. You don't get to yell questions. That's not how it works. Oh my. That was something to see. It was a tough contest for the Senate between Fetterman and Oz, where even Fetterman's hometown newspaper backed his Republican opponent. even his newspaper backed his Republican opponent. Leftist media is like, nah, let's go with Oz. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette said in its endorsement that Oz was the better bet for Pennsylvania and cast doubt on Fetterman's ability to serve as senator due to the recent stroke in his debate performance. During Tuesday's debate, after hundreds of thousands of votes were already been cast, voters finally learned something about where the candidate stood. They learned, among other things, that Mr. Oz opposes federal intervention in abortion rights, and Mr. Fetterman supports the broader constitutional guarantees provided by the overturned Roe v. Wade decision. They learned Mr. Fetterman supports a federally mandated $15 an hour minimum wage, and Mr. Oz wants the market forces to raise wages. They learned both the candidates support fracking. They also learned that both men are politicians, as they ducked and dodged questions about why they would change their minds in fracking. Neither candidate had experience in the U.S. Senator, given the lack of substance. During the campaign, many voters will have to make a leap of faith on November 8th, which they did. They took the leap of faith and they actually supposedly went along with Fetterman as the better option. I seriously, when you actually get down to it and you start thinking about it, you're just like, what? What? Who actually said that was actually a good idea? Is it his wife that's forcing him to do this? Is it his wife that's running the whole show? I really think that's what the case is. I don't think that it's actually him. I really don't. I just don't see it. Fetterman's wife would be the appointed senator later this year. That was always the plan. Well, of course. She's the one that's going to be running the show. The whole thing is going to be her. What a mess. You love that I lose it. That I lose it and some idiocy that it is. The people have spoken. Single moms and minorities preferred Fetterman. Good to see you, Charles Manson. Let's see here. Anybody that's already typing something, hold up a few seconds. We're going to actually turn on some subscriber mode. Subscribe if you want to actually talk to me. Why not? Let's make it be. Let's just make that happen. So, America shirts. America shirts. And let's see what's next. Here you go. House Dems signals support for GOP candidate if they allow Democrats to have subpoena power. So, when it comes to this current House of Representatives that we're actually currently dealing with, there's lots of talk about what can actually happen next and what would actually be for them to actually make it in. It's really kind of ridiculous on how they're actually trying to force it to be that McCarthy should actually be the answer to all our woes. I really just it's super disturbing. Shirts, couch. This is congressional Democrats are considering voting for a Republican. Yeah, no, they're not. There's no way that every single person that's actually stood up in front of this Congress and actually said that they're actually willing to go along with one particular person on the Democrat side. There's no way that anybody's going to take any guff and be like, yeah, okay, we'll go with you, okay, McCarthy, so that way you can actually win and we can end this charade, because that's pretty much what it is. They will be back tomorrow at noon, where they'll proceed to vote for the 11th time. All these numbers that you see going ahead, they've changed. They've changed. Like McCarthy's is slowly dwindling by one vote here, one vote there, and it's slowly working its way through. The thing is McCarthy doesn't have the votes. If he doesn't have the votes to continue, he needs to stop being like, okay, don't put me up. I'll step down. Let's put somebody else in there. Be a team player. Be a team player and actually play with the team, as opposed to being like, well, it's my show. I'm McCarthy. I'm the one that has the most experience. I don't care if you have the most experience or not. It's really freaking dumb. So this is congressional Democrats are considering voting on the Republican if the candidate meets certain requirements as the House GOP enter another day of voting for Speaker. After 7 rounds of voting, which this is from the day before, because they did another 3 today. That's why I said there's no way that this is actually going to happen, where they're going to actually be like, oh, okay, let's go vote with McCarthy so that we can end it and actually just move on. No, just no. Hey, Crystal Clear. How you doing, dear? So it says Democrat Representative California Ro Khanna, speaking to Neil Cavado on Fox News, said on Wednesday, I would consider the right Republican someone I could trust. Brian Fitzpatrick, Mike Gallagher, who actually spoke eloquently on the floor, David Joyce. On Twitter, Charlie Kirk wrote, if DC Republicans allow this standoff to end with a Democratic speaker or a coalition choice, they will lose 100 seats in 2024. And that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. If we continue to allow this to happen the way it is, because McCarthy and his rhino butt won't step down, he won't allow others to actually, be the ones that get voted to this position, they're going to lose their asses. They're going to lose their asses to the point where they'll no longer have anything to say ever again. They're going to lose their butts in 2024 if they don't actually shape up right now. But there needs to be two conditions. One, you can't have a debt ceiling debate or shut down as something that takes the country hostage. And two, there has to be some agreement on subpoena power. I'm open to a Republican who can work to put the interests of the American people first. Yeah, that sounds like you're putting the American people first when you're actually asking for certain power. If we go along and vote with you, as long as we vote with you, everything's okay, huh? No, no, no. It says no Democrat should have to say a subpoena power to a GOP Congress. That's a bright red line. Says Jack. Jack Posobiec's one of the nicer guys that's out there, and he's actually going to tell you straight out how it is. And when he actually says no, that's a bright red line, he's telling you the truth. There's no doubt about it that actually allowing some kind of subpoena power from a Democrat to a Democrat from the Republican side would do anything good at all. That would be horrible. This is Breitbart reports that two of the GOP that Khanna named, Joyce, Republican out of Ohio, and Fitzpatrick, Republican out of Pennsylvania, are members of GOP's business-backed pro-amnesty wing, despite GOP voters' deep opposition to labor migration. So, pretty much when you hear a Democrat saying, well, this one or that one, and they actually give you names, this one or that one, and those names that they actually give are actually the wrong people. Those are the people that you never put in that position, because those are the people that are going to allow Democrats to continue doing what they had been doing for the last few years. We've seen what they've done in the last few years, how much money they've actually spent, how many billions and trillions of dollars that they've spent over and over again, giving Democrats that ability to continue to do what they've been doing is not going to be healthy for this country. Those two congressmen supported legislation in 2021 that would enable farming companies to use migrant labor who would receive citizenship for their work. In this interview with Koolfrogg, Khanna said that he would not support McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has failed in several votes to attain the threshold needed to become Speaker of the House and Representatives. So there you go. If Democrats would be like, well, he might for the right person, but not McCarthy. McCarthy's not the right answer. So nobody on either side should really actually be still going up and actually putting McCarthy on that short list to be voted on. Nuh-uh. Stop it. You've lost it. You've lost it how many times? You don't have the votes. You simply just don't have the votes. You're done. You're not going to continue to screw around and be like, well, I still have 200 votes, so I'm going to actually make it be that eventually I will win this. No. Everybody else needs to actually start breaking away from it and actually start backing somebody else. Backing Kevin McCarthy is not the answer to anybody's answers. It's just wrong. Kevin McCarthy has failed several votes to attain the threshold needed to become Speaker of the House of Representatives. Republicans told 222 members in Congress, and McCarthy needed 218. There's plenty of space, but there's 20 solid people that are against him. They're like, no. And that's all it takes. It doesn't need to be that, you have 200 still. So everybody else that is going the other way, those 20, they need to actually turn around and come back. No, they don't. That's not how it works. You don't have the backing. You don't have the 218 votes. You're done. Quit forcing us to vote for you. It's so disturbing in so many levels that they're allowing this to occur. Let's see here. It says McCarthy and his surrogates have been working behind the scenes to secure a deal with the House GOP to garner those votes. There are 20 holdouts in the Freedom Caucus who have declined to support McCarthy. Hakeem Jeffries, that Democrat, of New York, has also been nominated for House Speaker and has gained all Democratic votes each round. Yep, every single one of them. That's why I said, nah, they have their mind set. Democrats have their mindset. There's no way that they're going to go and vote against Hakeem Jeffries. The second that they do that, it would show that they weren't stable either. And they need to make it look like they are stable. Without themselves making it look like they're stable, it would totally tear everything apart. What do we got here? GOP thinks they have MAGA in the bag. They're wrong. Millions of us will stay home, except to vote for Trump. Yep, exactly. You're going to actually see some mass drop in voter counts. You're going to see lots of voter counts just drop and go away. It's not going to be cute. It's going to get really, really disturbing, really scary, real quick. Okay, so then there's a couple people that have really been pushing part of this 20. There's one in particular, young lady that's actually been running that side of the 20 and actually making waves. Everybody wanted Marjorie Taylor Greene to actually do it, but Lauren Boebert has actually stepped up and has actually been the one that's actually done the most. So she held this little thing with Michael Knowles here, or whatever. Is kind of an interesting little conversation that they had.
Is the trust now just irreparably broken? That is to say, if Kevin McCarthy came out and issued a statement and said, okay, I'll give you single member motion to vacate, okay, I'll give you this, that, or the other thing. One, would that change your vote? And two, would that change enough votes to put him into the speakership? I know you've suggested maybe not, but just to be totally clear, are you saying that from the people you're talking to, McCarthy's speaker candidacy is actually dead?
It's dead, yes. The nails are in the coffin. And there are plenty of members who are cheering our efforts on, who are afraid of retribution.
It's dead. Straight up, in her own words, it's dead. He's not going to gain the votes that he needs. He's not going to become speaker. It's not his position to take. He needs to take his furniture that he went and he moved into that office out. Move. Get out. It's not your position to actually say, well, I'm going to do this and it's going to eventually be mine. No. Just no. You don't have the backing. You don't have 218 votes. You're lucky that you have 200. Everybody else that's actually walking away from him is being smart about it and being like, no, this is not your position. Go away.
We were threatened in conference. It was a nightmare in there. We were threatened by steering committee members who actually assign committees to members of Congress that if we vote against Kevin at all, we will not receive committee assignments. And Kevin McCarthy affirmed that. He stood up and said, your district elects you, your conference elects what committee you are assigned to. And so trust is broken. As it stands for me, I am a no on Kevin. And there are too many others who are there who don't allow him to get to 218. He doesn't have the numbers, Michael.
Wow. That's really, really big. And I have to tell you,
That's the conversation that should have been had with Hannity yesterday, where Hannity actually went along and actually just said, well, eventually will you go by your own words and actually go back and actually just, give him his spot that he deserves? He doesn't deserve it. It's not his. Her going ahead and continuing to go around and do these interviews and actually tell people, no, it is not his. He does not deserve it. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get back to him and he'll actually stop and just stop. Stop being the guy that's going to go up there and actually be like, okay, well, let's do it yet one more time. No, let's not do it one more time. Let's be a bigger person and step down. Let somebody else be that position. He's not going to go away. He's still going to be Kevin McCarthy. He's still going to be around. He's still going to be around for the next couple of years. It's not that he's going to go away permanently. It's just that he doesn't get to be the Speaker of the House. It's not his to pick. It's everybody else's to vote him in. If they don't want to vote him in, step down.
I know that people are pulling their hair out
creature.
over this, especially in the establishment GOP. To me, this is politics.
This is a constitutional republic at work.
This is it. This is kind of how it works. And if you're going to make bets in politics, then you got to make sure those bets pay off, or you're going to pay the price. And if you want a leadership role, I know you recently had an interview on television where the host, who will remain unnamed, was
it's Sean Hannity. It's Sean Hannity. We know better.
Yelling because he said, well, Kevin McCarthy has 200 votes. You only have 20 votes. Well, I thought you made the point very well. The first test of a congressional leader, someone who is in leadership, someone who's the Speaker of the House, is, can you get the votes that it takes to put you into the office? Because the whole job is getting the votes and creating consensus. Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time today. I will be waiting with popcorn, maybe with some booze, as Kat Kamek suggested people do, to see how this fight plays out. Thank you.
And that's exactly how it works. If you don't have the votes, you don't get the job. Not the other way around. That's not how it works. Oh, wow. Nice name. Fizzard. Nice name. It says, we love Trump here at Fizzard, and you should obey Trump and let McCarthy be Speaker. Nah. Even Trump is wrong when it comes down to it. Even he himself, wrong in all levels when it comes down to it. Though he actually went ahead and actually he's the one that's endorsing him, he's wrong at all levels. I don't care what he endorses. Though I'll still vote for him over some other assholes. No, just no. Not gonna happen. Wrong in so many levels. It's so freaking dumb. So, being that they brought her up, I actually do have a little thing about Kat Kamek. There you go. Kat Kamek has a little more fun with AOC and the Dems. So this is Representative Kat Kamek, Republican out of Florida, eviscerated Democrats during the fight over the vote for Speaker. Kamek said to the Democrats we're enjoying the Republican infighting. Diversity of thought is a good thing, Kamek stated. It's one of the things that sets us apart from our friends and the other side of the aisle. Yes, diversity of thought is a good thing, but they want us divided. They want us to fight each other. That much has been made clear by the popcorn and blankets and alcohol that has come in over there. She straight out just says this is what they're doing. They're eating their popcorn, sitting down in their blankets, and drinking alcohol. So this is Kamek got the Democrats go big time with that shot. Some wanted to have her remarks taken down, but since there isn't a speaker, there's no rules yet. So she didn't violate any rules. If Democrats took a shot every time McCarthy lost a Republican, would all be unconscious by now. Rep. Alexander Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "That was sort of funny." Kinda. I mean, it made me giggle. But then she had a sort of a lame attempt to come back at Kamek by going out to drink. Well, Mr. Terrible says, "Whoa, Koolfrogg's gone big time. If the Fizzer is here, well, if the Fizzer's here, I mean, you can, endorse me in some sort of way or whatever. You can actually help me pay my bills, and I'll call you the way it actually is supposed to be. So hook me up, and I'll hook you up. That's how that works." So this is it's AOC at DC Rum Distillery, Cotton and Reed. Says the House adjourned for dinner, and since Representative Kamek already accused us all of being lushes, I decided to visit the local distillery, Cotton and Reed, with loved ones for dinner. So she, there you go. That's a smart way to go. Be like, well, being that you're going to accuse me of doing something, let me just go do that. What the fuck? So she's going to go out to this distillery and she's going to go drink with Cotton and Reed. There's a couple people that are, her constituents or her friends, I suppose. I'm not sure that it's supposed to prove by going to a distillery. It seemed just to prove Kamek's point about the Democrats. But Kamek wasn't backing down and laid the Democrats a little more during the interview. And Fox's Harris Faulkner, if it wasn't true, why did they get so offended? Exactly. If it wasn't true, why did they get so offended? What's up, Zero Signal? Good to see you. Of course you'd do her. Of course you would.
Popcorn, blankets, and alcohol. And we have Twitter receipts from some of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, we do, Harris. And it's like I almost struck a nerve there. If it wasn't true, why did they get so offended? I just can't figure that one out. But as you said, AOC actually did prove my point in grabbing drinks yesterday. But that's beside the point. The Democrats want Republicans to be divided because they know that the greatest weapon that we have against the Biden regime is unity.
Yep. It's unity in itself. So, let's continue to push and press for some asshole in the name of McCarthy to actually get a position that he does not deserve. He doesn't deserve it. I don't care who says what. You're not going to change my mind. I'm totally with those 20 people that are on the side of being against him. There's no reason that somebody needs to continue to be like, well, let's do it yet one more time. Come on, let's do it one more time. Let's hold Congress, hold up Congress, and let's not complete anything. Let's not finish what we need to finish. Valhalla dropping in for a like and a what's up, Koolfrogg. Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. I mean, you don't have to just drop by. You can actually stick around for a little while if you want. This is it must have hit a nerve, it's no surprise for the Capitol Hill, a place where there's literally cubbies where members have tucked their alcohol aside. It's no surprise to anyone. So I mean, they all do it. They all sit there and they drink on the job. It's nothing that's shunned or told that they can't do it. They're going to continue to do that. I just thought that was kind of interesting, kind of fun. So let's see here. This guy. So there's 20 people that just so happen to have an issue with McCarthy, and this guy in particular I found very interesting. Matt Gaetz votes for Donald Trump for House Speaker in slight to McCarthy. He actually did several times, actually went ahead and voted for Donald Trump because he can. That's how it works. They can vote for me if they really wanted to. If they really wanted to, and you can vote for anybody to be Speaker of the House. They doesn't have to be a member of Congress for them to actually get that. If right, exactly. Gaetz. Gaetz is a G. This is Matt Gaetz on Thursday voted for former President Donald Trump to serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Gaetz, Republican on the floor, opted not to vote for Representative Byron Donalds of Florida, who had received the support of Republican lawmakers who have opposed Kevin McCarthy, the GOP leader, to serve as Speaker. The House led the seventh ballot roll call vote Thursday for Speaker, and then Gaetz' name was called. He responded, Donald John Trump. If you were watching and you were paying attention when he actually did such a thing, there was such a gasp across that floor because there's so many people that don't understand the rule that the Speaker of the House does not need to be a member of Congress. It can be absolutely anybody. That would be awesome. That would be so funny to see Trump as Speaker of the House, to actually be third in charge of it would just be so fun to actually see him actually sitting there and what he would actually do to Kamala and to Joe Biden. Because after what he had gone through for his 4 years, 4 full years, though they say he was impeached through the House, he was never impeached through the Senate. He was never officially impeached. So you can call it what you want. You could see the fun that would actually be had by this guy actually going ahead and doing such a thing. They could vote Koolfrogg as Speaker? Yes, they totally could. They totally could, Zero Signal. That's how that works. You can actually vote for anybody. It doesn't have to be a member of Congress. This is a former president, during an exclusive interview on Fox News on Wednesday, said lawmakers opposing McCarthy are playing a dangerous game and urged support of the GOP leader. He kind of did. Do I care what he actually said? Nah. Like I said, just because I like the guy doesn't mean I like everything that he's ever done. We can go back and we can look at things that he's done that were bad for us, like Operation Warp Speed. One of the worst things he ever did. One of the worst things he ever did, period. Everybody always thinks that all these things that all these jabs that we're actually dealing with actually come from this administration. No, they didn't start here. They don't start here at all. Go back to Operation Warp Speed back when this guy was president, and you actually look at what he actually did, how he actually sped something up to actually make it as dangerous as it actually is. And you can point fingers there. You really seriously can. There's a lot of things that he didn't do or that he did do that was not good. Would I like to see him as Speaker of the House? That'd be great. That'd be so fun. I'd love it. So this is let's get this thing over with, Trump told Fox News Digital on Thursday. I think it is a dangerous game, and frankly, if you're not happy with him, then they can do something about it at a later date. No. Why would we want to worry about it later on? We'd be like, oh, okay, let's just get this over with. Let's start Congress. Let's start things going. And then when we're angry with you later, still, let's remove you then. Because then you need just as many people to remove them. No, that's not that. No, don't do it. Don't put them in there just so you can actually remove them later. That's not how that works. Trump's thought on that is freaking stupid. He added, I support McCarthy and I support getting the deal done. What I don't support is allowing this to continue onward. The House has taken 3 additional roll call votes for Speaker since Trump's comments. McCarthy has failed to gain the votes needed to be elected Speaker over the past 2.5 days. It is the first time since 1923 that the House failed in the first vote for a Speaker. As they should. They should, and they need to continue. They need to continue to not allow McCarthy to win. McCarthy wins, and we're in the same boat that we had been for the last few years. He is a rhino. He is a swamp creature. He is that person that needs to actually go away with the rest of the Democrats. That's just my opinion. Gates and approximately 19 other GOP lawmakers urged that McCarthy is not conservative enough and claim that he has failed to make certain assurances about rule changes and would decentralize power in the House. Exactly. He would actually take away what has actually been put into place, and he would actually make it that, his rhino butt would actually be just as, popular as what Jeffries is. You might as well just put that Democrat in place. Why not put the Democrat in place? If that's what you're going to do, and you're going to actually make it so that Democrats still get their way, just give them the speakership. Quit fucking around and don't give it to this rhino. Giving it to this rhino is not the place to do it. Lenny says, "Who would you like for speaker?" As far as that goes, Jim Jordan most likely. Donald Trump would be a good one. There's a couple decent people that are out there that would actually do a good job, and that would actually be better than what McCarthy is. Matt Gaetz, maybe even just Lauren Boebert and herself. She's the one that's been putting herself out there. She's the one that's been, very outspoken lately about the whole thing, about actually stopping the swamp creature from actually being there. So, there's plenty of people. And as opposed to actually continuously putting McCarthy in that spot because he's got 200 votes. I don't care. You don't have 218. Stop. You're done. On to the next guy. Let's continue to move down the list and see who actually gets all of the votes. Who gets the 218? You didn't get 218. You're done. You're out. Trump will probably never get reelected, but if he ever admits publicly the economic shutdown and experimental jab were a mistake, he assures his own political demise. Yeah, it's true. That's true in itself. Good to see you, Beaver. This is, I'm with you on that. He would actually sink himself if he actually put himself into that position. He would actually sink himself really, really quick. So then, there's a lot of people that have spoken to the point of these 20 being who they are and doing what they're doing. The only good option is an extreme one, Jeffries or a Republican who will say no to anyone from any side and who will do things that make sense. Soloing it tonight until the church actually decides to show up. he's got IRL job, so as far as that goes, if he he'll get here when he gets here. We'll give him a little bit of time yet. Which I don't mind going solo if I have to. I've done it several times, and I'll do it again. Do you think if you have anyone that is not McCarthy as speaker will actually accomplish things in the Senate? Let's be real, nothing will get done. Doesn't matter. McCarthy does not have the votes. He is not the right person for the job. He needs to be removed from that position of actually being. It's not his speakership. It's not him to decide if he's the speaker or not. That's not how it works. It's up to everybody else to actually vote for him, to have the confidence in him to actually do the job. He doesn't have the 218. He doesn't deserve the position. I don't care who gets the job done, who doesn't get the job done. If there's nobody that gets the job done, guess what? They spend less of our tax dollars. I'm fine with that. They've already spent enough. We don't need them spending any more than they already have. No, I got you. I got you, Lenny. It's okay. You asked the question, and I'll answer it. I'll answer it with my own opinion as best as I possibly can. I enjoy the conversation. So as far as that goes, continue to ask questions. Davis says, in other words, someone who will provide mutually assured destruction if the House doesn't operate properly. If that's what it happens to be, let's hope that we can actually find somebody that's actually going to do a good job. I just don't see McCarthy being the right person. That swamp creature needs to actually not be somebody that we actually continue to believe in. I just don't think that he's the right person. I think he's the wrong person. He needs to be done with, removed, and completely never, ever brought back into this position to be a speaker ever again. He's been there before. We've seen what he's done. He did nothing good when he was there. He's exactly a rhino. Republican in name only. Nothing else. Happy January 6th. Happy January 6th to you. If you're going off the 12 days of Christmas, what the wise men actually show up today. And in this world that we actually live in today, we are actually dealing with a full moon as of tonight. If you haven't actually stepped outside to check it out, you might want to actually take a quick glance and actually look at that full moon while it's coming through. It's kind of an interesting ordeal in itself. Let's see. Let's get the right screen. So then, like I said, there's several people that actually have an issue with these 20 actually doing what they've been doing because they're like, oh, just put McCarthy in the spot. No, don't do it. If you can actually prevent it from happening, go ahead. Zero, I'm not sure why you're swearing, but YouTube algorithm don't like it. If you're calling, maybe you're calling Sheeple Hunter that? I have no clue. He can't see it. Just saying. So, on Tuesday, Trump endorsed Kevin McCarthy failed 3 times to win the vote. Now it's up to 10. It has the first time in 100 years that the speakership has not decided on the first vote. Kevin McCarthy lost the third vote to the House Speaker on Tuesday afternoon, with 20 Republicans voting for Representative Jim Jordan. The winning Republican can only afford to lose 4 votes. So if you're actually watching, actually paying attention during the day, watching C-SPAN or watching Congress.gov in itself and actually going and watching it off the House floor, however you're doing it, the second that there's 4 Republicans that vote any other way than McCarthy himself, McCarthy does not pick up the seat. And they have to still go through the whole list. The whole list of all the representatives there, all 400 and some odd, 35 of them, whatever it is, they have to go through all of them. They have no choice but to ask every single one of them what their opinion is, just in case somebody changed their mind. But if you're one of those that pays attention to those numbers, the second that they hit 4 people that vote against them, it's like, oh no, it's going to get kicked out again. So it's now that it's to the 10th one, they'll come back tomorrow at noon, and they'll actually be there Friday at noon Eastern time. When you actually go and you actually tune in and you actually look, the second that somebody stands up there and actually says, I select Kevin McCarthy, you might as well just assume that it's going to be the same exact way as the last 10 votes. It's going to go absolutely nowhere. It's done. They'll do this forever. They'll do it forever. If they know it's best, they'll continue to do it. They don't care. They're like, no, McCarthy's not the person for the job. McCarthy needs to step down. Maddie says McCarthy supported all the Ukraine bills, DACA amnesty, homosexual marriage, jab mandates for militaries, and so much more. I'd rather have a Democrat. No, exactly. That's what I said. Just go ahead. Let's just go with Hakeem Jeffries. If we're going to actually go with McCarthy, let's just go with the other guy. Because what's the point? What's the point? You're going to do the same exact crap that they've already been doing. And they're going to actually push for more monies to be put into Ukraine. They're going to push for more monies to go into different things. They're going to continue to push mandates. They're going to continue to do everything that they've already been doing for the last few years. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue. They're going to continue to do everything that they've already been doing. He is not a Republican. He is a rhino. He is a rhino out of California. We know this. He's not the person for the job. 20 people that are actually standing up against him know what they're doing, and they're going to continue. If they actually lose ground and they step back and start going the other way with it in whatever way, shape, or form, and actually give him that spot, they were paid off. They were paid off, and they all know better that it's not up to him on where people get put into committees. It's not up to him. For him to threaten them, to actually tell them that he will take them away, he'll remove them from committees in any way, shape, or form is wrong. It's not his place to do that. That's not what the Speaker of the House does. It's just not how it works. Let's see. This continues. He says he must reach 218 votes to win the speakership, and the GOP holds a narrow 222 to 212 majority in the chamber. Exactly that. This was despite the fact that President Trump endorsed Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday morning and urged Republicans to vote for McCarthy. It doesn't matter. Urge me to do it, I don't care. As much as I like the guy, as much as I'll still vote for him in 2024, no, he's wrong. And I'll call him out where he is actually wrong. I don't care. So it says the actions of these principled conservatives who refuse to support Kevin McCarthy is infuriating to party insiders, the uniparty, lobbyists, and GOP elites. On Wednesday, Dan Crenshaw called the 20 Republican holdouts terrorists. Dan Crenshaw, one of their own, comes up and says, oh, these 20 are terrorists. These 20 are the ones that are actually against everything that we actually stand for. No, wrong. They're not terrorists. Who's the terrorist? I think Dan Crenshaw might be. On Thursday morning, Fox and Friends cast labeled in principled holdouts and insurrectionists and saboteurs. Of course, insurrectionists is a label that borrowed from the sham of J6. I'm not calling that what it is. I'm just reading the article. It's a totally legitimate. That's what that exactly was. As Volk Society has explained today, a major takeaway from the whole situation with the House Speaker is that it exposing how deep the swamp is with the Uniparty and the media. The whole country saw Hannity the shill, and now this. They have no problem calling Republicans names in any way, shape, or form. You can see what they're actually calling them right there. That's what they want to call them. That's what they're going to go along with, and they're going to actually continue to call people names when they don't get their way. When they don't get their way, that's what they do. Exactly. That's Rich Crenshaw. Question, until you pick a speaker, money is stalled at the moment, correct? And did I misunderstand? Yes, everything is stalled. Nothing can actually be, there's no rules. There's nothing that they can actually, no laws they can create. So it is in itself, it might be a good thing that they're actually doing what they're doing, because they're unable to actually spend any money. They're unable to do anything at this point in time. They need to actually install the Speaker of the House first, so that the Speaker of the House can actually finish doing the job of actually taking the representatives that were actually just elected and actually install them into their positions that they're actually elected for. There's representatives that are actually sitting there that have actually been voted in that are no longer actually being that actually don't hold the position quite yet. Though it sounds like they actually do, because they have vote to actually get to the speaker. Without the speaker actually in place, it don't matter. You still have to have that speaker in place. You need to have that speaker in place so he can actually install everybody into their positions that they're actually voted in for. That's what happens when I go and I dig up articles or whatever else, and I'm like, oh, that was a second article from a different, whatever place that actually was just talking about the same thing. Darth Idiots, nobody can hear Congress because no speaker. Yep, nothing. There's nothing that they can do right now. Absolutely zero things can come through Congress at this point. It doesn't matter. So then even if the Senate's done, they got all their, Fetterman and all these other people all, installed into their positions. They're all ready to go. They can pass as many things as they want on the Senate side. It doesn't matter, because bills still need to be passed on both sides. So until the House picks their speaker, zero things happen in Congress. Absolutely nothing. This can last some time. The last time that this happened, like they said, it's been 100 years since that's occurred. The last time that it actually happened, it took them 2 months before they actually just selected somebody. So it can take some time. If they're not actually doing what they're meant to do, it could take a long time. I vote silence for speaker. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Was this not select a speaker for the 2 years? I'd be fine with that. Not select a speaker. Nothing happens in Congress. No dollars will be spent. So again, this is all news from today. A lot of these articles were actually written earlier in the day, before the 10th vote was actually put up. But there you go. McCarthy offers olive branch to Republicans in desperate attempt to become speaker. Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy is doing everything he can to muster up enough votes to become Speaker of the House. On Thursday, McCarthy lost his 10th round of votes as a group of 20 Republicans refused to vote for him. As the battle continues, McCarthy is offering more and more olive branches to conservatives. However, it appears that his efforts have failed. On Wednesday evening, McCarthy offered the following to the rebellious 20, as highlighted by Breitbart. One member motion threshold needed to force a vote ousting a speaker instead of 5. So select me, put me in place, and then instead of needing 5 people to actually put a motion in, it'd only take 1 person to create a motion to actually remove me. What? It's still just a motion. It's still a motion. That means you still have to have everybody vote on it to actually get you removed. You just no. Who gives a fuck? That ain't gonna do crap. That ain't gonna fix a damn thing. More House Freedom Caucus members in the House Rules Committee. 2 seats. 2 seats in the House Rules Committee for the Freedom Caucus? Who cares? What a pile of crap. That's not an olive branch. That's a bag of dookie. Pledges to hold votes on lawmaker term limit and border security bills. Pledges to hold votes on those? Oh, thanks for actually thinking about it so that you're actually going to vote. You're going to actually allow us to actually vote on term limits. You're actually going to allow us to vote on border security bills. Oh, gee, thank you. What? Who cares? That's not what it's all about. It's about removing these swamp creatures like McCarthy in a hole. Major challenges to the appropriations process to prevent another omnibus bill by allowing floor amendments to be offered by any lawmaker. Oh yeah, so here we'll open it up so that way if we decide to actually spend another $1 trillion, you have the right to actually include something of your own in that $1 trillion, so that way some of the money goes to wherever you would like it to go. Horrible decision. Those are not olive branches. Those are bags of fucking dookie. There's nothing there in any of that would actually make anybody be like, oh yeah, let's do that. We should actually join along with you and actually just do that. The list doesn't stop there. Republican Representative Warren Davidson of Ohio outlined even more concessions that McCarthy has offered to conservatives. Andrew Clyde's proposal to restore public access to the Capitol. The barriers that were put up for this current administration, they're going to get removed? Gee, they should never be there anyway. Remove them. Lauren Boebert's proposal to reduce the linkage between the NRCC and the steering committee process. Oh, here, Lauren, come join me. Here, I'll give you the one thing that you really want and push for. No, not good enough. Gary Palmer's proposal to cap spending on suspension bills. No, not good enough. Ralph Norman's proposal to limit leadership reports and make conference more engaging for all members. What? Really? Something that should already be there. You shouldn't have to actually be like, well, here, I'll give you this and I'll give you that. I'll give you all these things that you actually really want. If you actually just give me the spot that I really think I deserve, the one that I already moved my furniture into the office for, just give me my spot. It's okay. It's okay. I'm a swamp creature and I'll be here for the rest of my life. So you just give me what I want. And that way I'm happy and I'll make everybody else happy. No, not good enough. Scott Perry's proposal for additional conference meetings ahead of key votes. Or what's not make bills, super fat and thick, and it's actually make allow people to actually give time to read through everything that's there as opposed to holding a meeting and saying what's in there without telling us exactly what's in there. Bob Good's proposal to standalone appropriation bills. Andy Bigg's proposal limiting suspension waivers from committees. Chip Roy's proposal to make co-sponsored amendments in order. I mean, there's so many things that should already be that they're just like, oh, well, if we do this and we do that, we can actually make it this, that, and the other. No, we don't care. If the proposal's over 10 pages, it's automatically trash. I agree. Because who wants to read anything that's longer than that? If you don't have the time, you're going to actually hand it off to your secretaries and be like, here, you read 10 pages, here, you read 10, you read 10, to actually get, a 50-page order actually, pushed through. And you got like 127 pages, 247 pages. I see your 247 there, Pastor. Glad you're back. Glad you're back. So, I mean, there's plenty of things that he's actually tried to extend for olive branches to actually try getting this 20 to actually turn around and actually change their mind on, and none of it's good enough. None of it's good enough. Everything that he's offering is something that should already be there anyway. That's not an olive branch. That's trying to give people what they should already have. It doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form when it comes down to it, for him to actually continue to think, oh, here, if I give you this, if I give you what you want, you vote for me, you put me into the speakership, you actually allow me to actually continue to spend billions and trillions of dollars. You allow me to still push money into this money laundering scheme that is Ukraine. You allow me to continue to do everything that I've already been doing, and we'll be okay. Obamacare was over 2,000 pages? Yeah, right. Exactly. Some of the stuff is ridiculous when you think about it. You're like, what, 2,000 pages? Who read that? Who actually read the whole thing and actually knows exactly what's in there? Just under 1,000? Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small it actually was. Like you said, if it's over 10 pages, it should be automatically trash. It just should not exist. So, we are talking about it or whatever. So then, Lauren Boebert in herself or whatever. So she did change a few things today. There's a sudden nomination change for House Speaker gains steam in anti-McCarthy camp, but nowhere else. She changed her nomination from Byron Donaldson to Kevin Hearn. Kevin Hearn out of Oklahoma. So this is Representative-elect Lauren Boebert's sudden nomination to Representative Kevin Hearn to be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives gained small support among the 20 Republicans voting against GOP leader Kevin McCarthy in the 9th and 10th rounds of votes Thursday, which yet again failed to produce a majority for any one candidate. And that's the way the process is supposed to work. One person doesn't get the votes, let's put somebody else there. Let's see if they get the votes. Let's put the next person, see if they get the votes. You continue to put the next person in place until the majority say, yeah, let's do that guy. Kevin McCarthy and his ridiculous idiocy of thinking that he's the one that should actually get the spot, so he's going to actually continue to go put his name up there, is dumb. It should not ever be, and he needs to actually go away. The free rider bullshit needs to go, and all the pork bullshit. I hate that it actually blocks certain things over on the YouTube side. It's so stupid. They're like, oh, normal people don't talk like that. Well, do they even know what normal people actually do talk like? Do they really even know? But despite the increased support for Hearn, who has voted for McCarthy throughout the speaker's race, the size of the anti-McCarthy group remains the same in the deadlock contest. It didn't remain the same, though, because it's actually increased by a couple in the last couple of votes. So though it's been at 20 for the last 3 or 4, the first 6 had actually shown some fluctuation on those 20 to get to that 20. So it wasn't like that at first. It wasn't 20 straight out. The conservative group objecting to the Republican leader as static at 20 votes, which on Wednesday coalesced around Republican-elect Byron Donalds, Florida, who lost support to Hearn as the voting stretched into the 10th round Thursday. In the 10th round of voting, McCarthy won 200 votes to Donalds' 13 votes, while Hearn's support rose to 7. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You notice that McCarthy no longer has 207, I think was the highest that he got to. I really seriously, I don't care. They've dwindled, they've moved, they've stopped voting for him. They're like, okay, he's done, he's washed up, we don't want him here no more. Every single person that's voting for Kevin McCarthy needs to actually think about it and actually just stop voting for him. Stop voting for him, vote somewhere else, vote for another Republican. Let's get a decent Republican in place. Which one? I don't know. Like I said, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz. I don't know. I don't know where it would actually be best. But McCarthy's not the answer, apparently. If you ask me, I don't see anything wrong with having Jenny McCarthy as a speaker. Everything else is a clown world, so why not? I mean, sure. I mean, that would be an interesting one. See how she does. The conservative group objecting to the Republican leader is ecstatic at 20 votes. I did read that paragraph. So, Rep-elect Victoria Sparks of Indiana was the only Republican to vote present. She's throughout the whole thing. She's like, no, I'm not voting. I'm here. Present. While Rep-elect Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat, received all the 212 Democratic votes of the chamber every single time. All of them. Every single one of them. And that's why it's like, well, as opposed to, continuing to do what we're doing, if we don't want that rhino in place, hey, go put Jeffries in place. I mean, if we might as well, if that's the only other option to actually get rid of the rhino is to vote for the Democrat. Why are we not doing that? Might as well. What the hell? Though I'm totally against it, might as well. It might just be a better option, a better choice. You just never know. This is why Democrats always win. They're locked up in their communism. Yep, exactly. They will actually march together to actually go the one way. To show solidarity so that they always get what they want. They're all in for the same exact bullshit. They're all okay with that. It's these Republicans that are not. So Hearn just 2 votes out of the 8th round of voting, despite not being nominated. One of those from Boebert, who ultimately nominated the Oklahoma Republican in the 9th and 10th rounds. The colleagues that I brought with me to offer these 218 votes on the first ballot aren't there anymore. It's not happening. And as it's been, we need to get to the point where we start evaluating what life after Kevin McCarthy looks like. I just hope that these 20 actually stand solid and firm together and actually just be like, don't do it, don't sway, don't allow anything to actually sway you to actually vote for that swamp creature. That swamp creature is not going to ever do anything good for us. He's the worst thing, and he does not deserve the spot. Boebert had supported Donalds in previous rounds of voting. However, it is unclear what prompted her sudden change. The rules in the way it actually works. That's how it simply works. That's all it is. Straight up. Adriana, hello. How are you? Good to see you. The race for House Speaker has not exceeded 10 rounds of voting since 1860, when the House needed 44 ballots to select a Speaker. The only time since the Civil War that the House needs multiple rounds of votes to select a Speaker was in 1923, when the chamber selected a Speaker. In the 9th ballot, the House is set to begin its 11th round of voting Thursday evening. Wrong. They actually adjourned. They actually adjourned until noon tomorrow. The article's a little off. It's okay. It's okay. We'll deal with it. Because, noon tomorrow. What do we have for time? Hour 36. We're doing pretty good. So, for whatever reason, places like to actually go around and throw their own thoughts and opinions into it and be like, oh, maybe we should go this way, or maybe we should go that way. Oh, Edward Lockwood, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. Kathy Trout came after meme stream. Nice. I'm glad that y'all, stumbling in here. I do have it on subscriber mode, so you do have to subscribe to actually join in chat. So thank you for subscribing if you hadn't already. And please stick around. We do talk about a lot of politics when it comes down to it. And it's fun. It is lots of fun. Let's see if America Search decides to even show up tonight. I have no clue. It's okay, though. So then, from Fox News, here are the Republican alternatives if the Speaker McCarthy's bid falls through. It's already fallen through. Just remove the thought that he's actually going to get it. He's not going to get it. There's no way that's going to happen. The race of the House Speakers entered the 4th day in the 10th vote, the most votes of the Speaker race since 1923. The chances of Republican leader Kevin McCarthy winning the speakership appear increasingly dismal, with a merely growing yet relentless tribe of defectors holding out on the opposition of the California congressman. Though McCarthy's speakership ambitions have been obstructed by the Never Kevin camp, a viable alternative to McCarthy has still been arisen. Below are the GOP members to watch as the race of Speaker continues to unfold. Byron Donalds. During the first 2 votes, the GOP Speaker of the House, Rep-elect Byron Donalds of Florida, gave his vote to McCarthy, but switched gears and picked Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio in the 3rd round. Being the first member to change his vote, the congressman-elect was later nominated for Speaker and quickly rounded up support by a majority of the 20 members who opposed McCarthy as Speaker. They're like, oh, hey, turned around. Okay, sweet. Let's put you up there. This guy right here. This guy. And I'm really for it. Let's do it. Let's put him up there. Let's have some fun with this. Let's put him up there. Let's see what he can actually do. Donalds, who was the first elected 2020 to represent Florida's 19th congressional district, is entering his 2nd term in his 118th Congress. For the first time in history, there have been 2 Black Americans placed in nomination for Speaker of the House. Rep-elect Chip Roy, who, while he nominated the Floridian on the House floor Wednesday, If elected, Donald's 44 would make history as the first black Republican Speaker of the House. Wrong. It's wrong. Go and do any research on it and actually find out that there's actually somebody else that was there at one point in time. A lot of old history that they like to actually not remember and they actually like to forget. Steve Scalise, Rep-elect Steve Scalise, the number 2 Republican in the House and deputy to McCarthy, has been floated as a possible alternative to the race for House Speaker, has dragged on. Though Scalise has denied interest in the position, many still see the Louisiana congressman as a viable alternative to McCarthy. The 57-year-old congressman is entering the 8th term of the House. Scalise captured the attention of the nation when he was shot in 2017 by a left-wing extremist during a baseball practice for the annual congressional baseball game. On Tuesday, McCarthy appeared to laugh in response to the reporter's question on the possibility of Speaker Scalise. Elise Stefanik, this young lady right here. So this is Rep-elect Stefanik, a Republican out of New York, the third-ranking Republican in the House, has not been nominated for the race of the House Speaker yet, but that hasn't stopped some from including her from the list of potential alternatives to McCarthy. However, she supported McCarthy for Speaker in every vote at the start of the 118th Congress. She has voted for him each and every single time. She needs to maybe if she actually thinks about it, she might actually be the next one to actually be selected, and maybe people will make this go along with it and be like, yeah, let's do that. Stefanik, who has served as the chair of the House Republican Conference since 2021, when she replaced former Rep. Liz Cheney, became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress at the time when she first entered the House in 2014. Former President Donald Trump. Yes, that is something that is potential. That is something that has the potential to actually occur and maybe kind of be interesting in itself. Hey, Barbara. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Barbara Vance says, Jim Jordan would have been my choice. I'm kind of with you on that. Let's, I was asked the question earlier, and I said Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, maybe Lauren Boebert herself, maybe. Kind of wishy-washy on that one. She's just been the one that's actually been putting herself out there for the most. So on Wednesday, former President Donald Trump endorsed McCarthy's nomination. After 3 failed votes of the Speaker, several of Trump's close allies in the House are within the Never Kevin camp and have been bashed for holding up the House Speaker's race. Despite expressing support for McCarthy's Speaker bid, the former president was named a candidate in the House floor by Representative-elect Matt Gaetz on Thursday during the House's 8th vote. Trump currently has his sights set on another term of the White House and is the only candidate in the 2024 presidential race after announcing his candidacy in mid-November. Although Trump has not been officially nominated as a Speaker candidate, several of the Never Kevin members in Congress are vocal supporters for the former president and may decide to also give him their vote should the House continue to draw out their election. Though a non-House member has never been elected as Speaker, it is still possible for Trump to win the speakership and not serve as a representative. Again, anybody, vote for me. I'll take it. Koolfrogg for Speaker. Let's go. Let's do it. Yep, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz nominated him. Exactly. Jim Jordan. There you go. I think there's more people that would actually be more willing to actually go along with Jim Jordan. I'm kind of surprised if I would almost think if they actually went to the point of actually taking McCarthy off of it and not actually voting for him and actually voting for anybody but him, Jim Jordan may actually pick up a lot of votes. Despite expressing disinterest in the speaker role, Rep. Jim Jordan was the second Republican candidate to be nominated to closely watch speaker race. After several representatives voted for Jordan in the first ballot for speaker on Tuesday, Jordan was officially nominated by Gates in the second ballot. While many of the members seeking to block McCarthy's speakership bid rallied support for Jordan, the Ohio representative pledged his support to McCarthy on the House floor and urged others to do the same. I don't understand why these guys are so adamant at actually making McCarthy such a thing. I'm kind of surprised that Jordan's not part of that 20 or making it maybe 21. It is a privilege, it is an opportunity. We owe it to them, the American people, the good people, the great country, to step forward and come together, get a speaker elected so we can address these three things, Jordan said while nominating McCarthy. Jordan is expected to become the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, where he has served as ranking member under the Democrat-controlled House, which is true. So I mean, there's a couple of potential nominations right there. So you got Jim Jordan, Donald Trump, Elise Stefanik, Steve Scalise, and Byron Donalds, as well as a couple of others, Matt Gaetz. I mean, there's potentiality there. We could actually go somewhere. We could actually make something better of what is actually being, what is actually there. Holy 76 viewers. That's awesome. Glad you're all here. Thank you so much for being here. Throw thoughts, comments in chat. I speak to my chat and I speak with them as much as I possibly can. Questions that are actually asked do get answered. If you'd like to support me, because I can't actually gather super chats quite yet. I have another 12 days before that happens. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg and show your love and support over there. Anything that's actually said on there, those questions will definitely be answered as well as I possibly can. Please hit that up. Go check that out. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Spelled the same way you see it on the screen. That's KOOLFROGG. Hit that up. Check it out. There is a PayPal link down below, as well as if you haven't already, something ever happens again to this channel like it's done before, bring yourself over to the Rumble side and subscribe over there. Spelled the same exact way. You'll know which one to actually subscribe to. The one that has the over 450 subscribers already. You subscribe to that one. That's the one that you actually go hit that up on. If, like I said, anything ever happens here, I don't stop. I'm not going to stop doing whatever I'm doing. I will be over there. Nominate Flava Flav. I mean, you just, maybe that might be an option. That just might be an option. All of you that are actually listening, if you're like, do I subscribe? Do I not? Yes, just do it. It's free. It costs you absolutely nothing to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button for me. When I actually get to the 17th of January is where I actually get to apply for monetization. And will I? Yes. Yes, I'll be applying for monetization as soon as I possibly can. Meme, how's it going, brother? Like that button. Do it. Just smash it, like it, crush it, make it your friend. Do all those fun things. 78 watching and only 30 likes. I mean, even if you're not actually, joining in conversation, hit the like button for me anyway. Push it through that algorithm. Make it what it is. Let's have fun with this. There's plenty of people. We can have some great conversations. Unsubscribe before the 17th. Suppress the frog. Screw you, Darth. God. Nah, Darth is good people. And that's what I'm saying. Seriously, we have lots of fun around here. We don't just talk politics all the time. It's just the majority of stuff that we actually do. We will actually turn around. We'll do different things. We invite other people in. We do panels. We do lots of fun. Memes joined me before, as well as many others. Many others. We've had lots of fun around here. So, I think I'm done speaking about McCarthy and the idiocy that comes from all of this. I really do. I don't. Did have a couple things. So over the last few years, or the last few years, wow, it seems like it's been that long. Over the last year of me actually doing this show, we've actually covered several things in depth when it come down to food processing factories that have actually gone up in flames, when it comes to chicken farms, turkey farms, almost anything that go along with food processing, because that affects everybody. It affects everybody in more than we'd like to actually think. So here's this here. So there's this a river of melted butter blocks Wisconsin waterway after fire at a dairy plant. Just seriously, just looking around yesterday to see if there's anything recent about anything that's been going on. It seemed like there's been a short while since there's actually been a factory fire. Oh, listen, today I'm like, really? Today there's one? So there's this fire broke out in Wisconsin dairy plant on Monday night, sent a river of melted butter flowing across the factory floor and into a nearby storm drains, where it clogged a historic water artery. The conflagration erupted as the Associated Milk Producers facility in Portage around 9 p.m. local time. Firefighters said on Wednesday nobody was injured. Authorities said that it is unclear what caused the blaze, which is under investigation, and will assess the runoff before deciding how best to clean it up. Don Dissel. I mean, I could be wrong, but Don Dissel seems to actually clear up butter very quickly. Authorities said it was unclear what caused the blaze, which is under investigation, and will assess the runoff before deciding how best to clean it up. Firefighters tried to enter the burning building, but was deterred due to the heavy smoke and runoff. The fire broke out in a butter storage room, and the butter started to flow through the facility. The butter runoff in heavy smoke slowed access to the structure. Officials said many firefighting crews worked for hours to contain and extinguish the fire. When we first tried to go up the stairs to that part that collapsed, this stuff, the butter, was running down like 3 inches thick on the steps. So our guys were up to their knees trying to go up the steps to get to the top, and they're trying to drag the hose line. The hose line got so full of butter, they couldn't hang onto it anymore. A local hazardous materials team tried to prevent the slick runoff from pouring into the storm sewers and the Portage Canal. This nearly 200-year-old waterway is on the National and State Register of Historic Places, as it once served as an important means of transportation. While fires at food processing plants are not uncommon, most social media users in spring 2022 supported a false conspiracy theory that they were planned intentionally. We don't go along with that. We don't say that it was intentional, but it just seems to be very interesting on how many things have actually occurred in the last year. Tom Super of the National Chicken Council told Reuters the speculations were fake news. I can only speak for chicken, but like any manufacturing plant industry, there are generally a few fires that occur each year across the country. The majority of them are accidental or contained rather quickly. and certainly not enough to affect the chicken supply. But yet we see prices of eggs and chicken and everything else, and not just due to inflation, actually increase. So pay attention. If you're a butter user, if you're from the region or whatever, and you use a lot of butter for cooking, or even just using it to spread it on your baked goods or whatever it is that you do with butter, really maybe seriously pay attention to that, and you might be surprised what the price would actually go up to once supplies start to dwindle. That can happen very soon, can be very quick, and come very soon. So again, like I said, we've actually covered quite a bit of the food supply constraints when it comes to fires in the last year. So for me to skip this would be kind of silly. Could be kind of scary for those that are out there that are actual butter users. Again, pay attention to those prices. Last thing that I actually had, and I'm really not sure if I actually wanted to actually cover it or not, was a Goodfield. I don't know if Fox News is actually going to be like, no. So I'm going to try fair using it as much as I possibly can, and we'll see what actually happens. Being that we are at the almost 2-hour mark, 77 watching is still only 33 likes. Come on, guys. It's not that hard to hit that like button. It's not that hard. It doesn't actually, all it does is actually boost the algorithm for me and makes it worthwhile for me to actually continue to do what I do. Again, buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Go ahead, support me. If you don't like buying me a coffee, you're like, there is a PayPal link down below in the description line. As well as make sure that you check out americashirtsarefirst.com. Only the most base shirts on the planet. Use promo code Koolfrogg. Today's the last day to actually get to 25% off. Tomorrow it goes back to 15. Which really, it's you got another whatever, maybe 24 hours before that actually goes away. Automac says tickle the like. Yeah, it's not that hard. Just kind of finger it, touch it, do all those things that you like to do to your friend. Too bad Frog doesn't have any mods to post to his grifty links. The sad thing is it seems as though most of my mods are not here right now. So, Darth, guess what, brother? Be nice. Don't make me take it away again. I've taken it away twice from me before. I'll do it again. There you go, brother. You get to be gay. You get to be gay. All you, brother. Hit those links. Post them for me. You do that? Spray avocado oil is still better than spray butter. Well, yeah, spray butter is kind of weird. Stick of butter? No, that's where it is. They are literally in the description line. They are. It's simply, copy and pasting it straight to the, I maybe. Current views up to 80 of you and only 34 likes. Come on. What are you doing? Just hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you haven't seen everything that we've actually talked about already today, maybe you go back and you could do the rewatch. Just saying. As you slowly dwindle your way out, don't forget to hit it. It's okay. It won't hurt you. Matthew's like, Darth Idiot is gay. Okay. On to Goodfield. So, like I said, I'm going to try fair using this as much as I possibly can.
hope you had a great New Year's Eve. I don't know if I did, which means I did. Yes. Now, I'm not an optimist or a pessimist or even a gynecologist, despite what it says on my business cards. But I always see my glass half full, especially while I'm waiting for the pill to dissolve in my drink, because that's what America is. And I believe we have a lot of room for optimism, because like a pervert with an iPhone at the bottom of an escalator, things can only look up.
Things can only look up. Of course, if you put your phone at the bottom of the escalator, where else would it actually be? There you go. Thanks, Darth. Support Frog right there. buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Memes is very Japanese. Why that was actually blocked is beyond me.
Because after all, right now, everything is down in the dumps. We're talking lower than Don Lemon's ratings or Nancy Pelosi's neckline. The economy, crime. How could this stuff get any worse? Oh, yeah, Kill Me's on today. Talk about getting off on a good foot, huh? But we do have reason to think positively for a whole bunch of things. You've heard of the slippery slope? And I don't mean the ramp that slides UPS delivery men into my basement. Slippery slope is when stuff keeps getting worse by virtue of it already being bad. Well, I believe 2023 is the year when the slope hits the wall. And that's because stuff just went too far. We let the nuts take the driver's seat. And it's time for the pendulum to swing back to some form of normalcy. The adults need to take charge. And not ones in diapers.
Not ones in diapers. Not this guy. Not this guy whatsoever. Not Joe Biden. That's not where it is. That's not it at all. Not that diaper-ridden fool that has no choice but to crap himself on a regular basis, make somebody else clean his butt. There you go. Hit that Rumble page. Go over there. If you haven't already, please do so. Please do so.
Here are my predictions, which are basically hopes. First, we'll start treating crime like crime again. For so long.
Oh, we're going to start treating crime like crime. Really? Again? Finally? You're going to finally actually go back to the way it's actually supposed to be, hold people accountable for the things that they've actually done, and as opposed to actually being like, well, you're special. You know, I'm gonna slap you on the wrist, let you walk away because nobody cares. It's okay. Not trying to be confrontational, but how can you still support Trump with keeping Fauci on, supporting warp speed and bump stock ban, a massive Rona spending bill, so many better options. But yet there's not. That's the thing. Yet there's not. And it's okay. You can be confrontational. I like it. I like it when people actually talk to me and actually ask those types of questions. I wish I would have actually seen it a few seconds sooner. But yeah, absolutely. And I get that question quite often. How can you actually still support him? The only reason I can still support him, though I don't like the things like he's done, like Operation Warp Speed. Seriously, I don't see anybody better. Joe Biden is the worst person that has actually been in Congress in the last 60 years. I really seriously, that's the main reason. When it came down to it in the beginning, I couldn't pull the trigger on Hillary Clinton. So what did I do? I voted for Trump. Did I vote for Trump again? Yeah. Will I do it one more time? Yep. One more time. Why? Because the option that you're giving me on the other side is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the answer to anything other than who shits his pants on a regular basis. That's the only answer. That's the only answer to that, to any question that comes along with that. And I get it. There's a lot of things that he actually did that he didn't really think about. Operation Warp Speed was one of the worst things he ever did. And I agree with you on that. But when it comes down to who And why? Is you're not giving me a better option. You're not giving me a better choice. Yes, I will vote for him in 2024 because there's nobody that you're actually giving me a better option on. If you can actually give me a better option, somebody that's not a swamp creature, deep state shill, yeah, maybe I'll actually vote for somebody else other than him. But until then, until you can actually show somebody that can actually do a better job than him, no, I won't do it. I won't do it. There's nothing that you can say that will actually be like, well, what about this guy or what about that guy? Because there is nobody. There's nobody right now that is actually being held up to the responsibility of actually being the next person. You're going right back to the same two people that we voted for last time. The difference between Trump and Biden is Trump is better. I know some of the things that he's done aren't the best. How can I stand behind him? Because I refuse to stand behind somebody that shits their pants. And I know they're like, really, just because he shits his pants, that's the issue? No, it's not the only issue. It's everything that he's ever done. The 88 drug and crime, 88, 94 drug and crime bills, anything that he's ever done, anything that he's ever touched, anything that he's ever completely ever tried to do, he's ruined. As vice president, as being the vice president under Barack Obama, when he actually built them fucking cages and put them at the border that they tried saying and turning around and blaming Trump for, everything that this guy's ever done, he's ruined. He's not the answer to anything. Joe Biden sucks. Give me somebody better on either side. I voted for Democrats forever. I was on the Democratic side for a lot of things. Only once they actually realized that Hillary Clinton was not the answer to the question was to actually vote for Trump. And I've never backed down. I've never backed down. After I started reading history books and realizing where the Democratic Party actually came from, everything the Democratic Party has ever done, the Democratic Party will never, ever get another vote from me for anything. And I get it. There's a lot of dumb things that he's done. And, you're like, oh, the massive spending. Look at the massive spending that he's currently doing. Look at all that massive spending that's currently going on under this Biden administration. The trillions of dollars, the billions of dollars that are being funneled through Ukraine. It's ridiculous. We should not be spending our tax dollars on something that has nothing to do with us. Only when it has something to do with us should we have any input whatsoever. Ukraine is not up to us to take care of. They can't win their own wars. Not my responsibility. Not mine. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's where it comes down to. I refuse to support anybody else because of that. Because of that. No. He's not the answer. I see Automac actually got back to you on that, and that's what actually caught my eye was, you're right. To give $100 billion to Ukraine, sell your oil reserves to China, get Arab egg on your face, and let everyone in, though your southern through your southern border, but yet, right, Trump is bad. Exactly. That's what actually caught my eye, to actually go back and actually see what you actually asked. And that's exactly what it is. When you actually see what's actually currently happening under this current administration, that's been 10 times worse than anything else has ever been, I refuse to go back and vote for a Democrat ever again. And that's why, if you actually watch the majority of this show, as I'm talking about McCarthy, and McCarthy being the swamp creature that he is, and does not deserve to actually have that House speakership, that's what I'm saying. Just no, he's not a Republican. Though he actually says he is, he's not. He's a Democrat. He is a Democrat through and through. aka Rhino. And that's exactly where I'm at. I refuse. I refuse to actually go with anything that a Democrat ever has to say ever again. You look at what they're currently doing, the worst job any president ever. You can say, oh, but Trump never did this or Trump never did. Trump did nothing. Wrong. Trump did a hell of a lot more than what people actually give him credit for. People don't see everything that he's ever done. And I'm just not for it. Did you know Frog is on Locals? Yes, I am on Locals. I am on Locals. That's just another opinion.locals.com. You see that big orange K that's around? That's the same exact orange K that's on that. You actually go and hit that up. Go check it out. That's also another easy way to actually support me. You can actually go there. That support over there is sometimes just as good, if not better, than any other. Buy merch from America Shirts. Koolfrogg, look at the new New York law that just passed. Anyone under 12 can't be arrested for anything less than. Damn. I'll leave myself a little note. I'll take a glance at that. Now, tonight is the last show of the week. I do have a real life job, so then I actually work the next 4 nights. So there won't be a show until next week, Tuesday again. I'll look up that New York law on that. I see a couple things, that yeah, exactly. Quit calling. I didn't call him a sniffer. I call him a shit. I call him somebody that actually poops his pants, because that's the best thing you can ever do. But he's straight up, yes, he is something. There is something wrong with him when it comes down to him with his being a map. Trump got the U.S. in the black, brokered peace deal with the Middle East, and excused the U.S. from NATO and the EU. Without that very last word, everything would have gone through automatic. Exactly. That last word, the bullshit, but that I agree with. Exactly. Trump did so much for this country. He actually helped this country out so much. And it's amazing how many people refuse to actually look at everything that Trump has ever done, all the good things that he had actually done. You go back and you look at, there's a couple of ladies that actually hold podcasts, Diamond and Spice. You look at these two beautiful black women, and what they actually talk about and how they actually talk about it. If you actually go back and you actually look, when he actually signed the papers allowing them to get out of jail, what they actually called him. They actually looked at him and they said, "You are the first black president, Donald Trump." Seriously, they loved him for everything that he's ever done. There's so many people that really do enjoy and understand the truth on Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a couple things that he did that were stupid. At the top of that list, Operation Warp Speed. I'm with you on that. But when it comes down to it, most of the bad stuff that's ever happened come out of that Democrat Party. And yes, he does have a sniffing problem. He does. But we don't call him out for it. I don't care about it. That's the least of my worries. It's everything else that he's actually done. That was the start of it. That was the first couple things that a lot of people actually weren't paying attention to, as they were worried about looking at mainstream media, and mainstream media just sitting there spouting out, spewing their idiocy about Orange Man bad. Oh, Orange Man bad. This, that. Now. Excuse me. That's what you're going to go off of? You're going to go off of one little, talking point that they had, and that was all they had, was to call him Orange Man bad. They had nothing bad to say about him. They had to actually make something up. They had to actually lie. They had to actually lie about everything that he had ever done to actually get him in what they say they impeached him twice, only through the House. Only through the House. He was never actually impeached. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. When it comes down to it, I'm so sick of the crap. Biden won't run again. I'm not so positive on that. Not so positive about that. He's actually kind of said that he just might do so if he was supposed to run up against Trump again. It will be Trump versus some weasel. Yep. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Obama term 3. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with right now. We're not even dealing with Biden. The majority of the stuff that we're actually dealing with, this is Obama. This is Obama's doing. Obama's the one that's actually pushing this. He's the one that's pulling the strings on the whole fucking thing. All of it's him. 72 views and only 34 likes. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Smash that shit. What the hell are you waiting for? You're just going to sit there and be like, well, let's see if he actually says anything good. What else do you want me to say? Just do it. Just do it. There you go. Pastor, preach, Froggy. Yep. I'm going to tell you how I feel in my own opinion. I'm not going to tell you how to actually think, how to actually do anything in your own personal life. But I'll tell you straight out the truth. I'm not going to sit there and tiptoe around it and be like, yeah, Orange Man bad. No, that's not how it is. It's not the truth. The thing is, Trump is mostly Democrat too. He was. You actually look at everything that he actually did beforehand, everything that he actually stood for beforehand, all the stuff that he actually did before he actually started running for president. And you actually pay attention to the people that he hung around with, it's just amazing how all of a sudden, oh, he's Republican. Oh, he's a racist. Oh, right. Oh, uh-huh. You gonna lie to me about that? You gonna lie to me and tell me that Republicans are the ones that are of the of BLM? Nope. How about KKK? Nope. Wasn't them. It was Democrats. It was Democrats that actually ushered that crap in. There was an anti-Republican group. Anti-Republican group. Remember those 3 Dixiecrats that actually changed their stance and actually moved themselves into the other side and actually said, oh, we're going to have these N-words voting for us for the next 100 years. Guess what? That 100 years is almost up. It's almost up. And they're going to actually, people are actually going to start waking up to the exact truth on what actually happened and who did what. It's the Democrats that are bad. It's the Democrats that create all these factions and groups, Antifas and whatnots, and actually lie to us and tell us that it was the other side. Wrong. You're not going to lie to me. You're not going to lie to me. There's nothing you can do to actually tell me that it was any other way. Vote yay? Come on now. That ain't going to happen either. Things Trump is mostly Democrat. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. He was. It's just that he needed a ticket to run off of, so he actually went to the other side and actually picked up the ticket to actually run off of the Republicans. I love how they called Trump a racist when he opened Mar-a-Lago. It was illegal for blacks and Jews to enter the Palm Beach. He sued the county to allow them in. Yep, exactly. Trump is the best. I don't care what people say about him. When you actually know the truth and you actually understand it, that's where it comes down to. Ash, good to see you. long night at work. Hopefully you have a little bit of time to actually rest. Diamond and Silk. I've met them. Good people. Yep, they are. They're so fun to actually hear what they have to actually say and where they actually came from and what Trump actually did for HBCUs, what he's actually done for that community in a whole. Is he's the one that actually has done more. He's the one that's done more for community than any other. Yep. First president to give funds to the Black College. Exactly. First one. Anybody else? Nope. They don't give a shit. They'd rather hold them down because then they can actually convince them where to vote and how to vote. Yeah, right. I love how they called him a racist and then proceeded to actually call him Orange Man bad. And that's exactly what it is. The hypocrisy of the left and their name calling. They're the ones that always call people names. They're the ones that always come up with words to actually call somebody something bad. Like I said, I've been there. I was a Democrat for years. I grew up in Minnesota. It's straight up communistic state of Minnesota. I was straight Democrat. Everything that I had ever known was to actually go along with the narrative and actually go along with what everybody else is doing. Once I actually switched and changed it and started actually thinking for myself, actually grabbing books and reading, it really seriously opened my mind and actually started thinking about things and the way they actually were, and to make things better and to change things, to actually do things for others by creating this particular channel, to actually come out here and actually tell people what it is like to actually go from being a Democrat to actually turning myself around, opening a history book, learning the truth, learning exactly where things actually happened, what the Democratic Party actually had done to this place. It just amazing. The next step, because we're dealing with the socialism as we are, is straight up communism. That's the next step. Do we want to go there? Do we want to make it that bad? Do we actually want to actually make it that way? One thumbs up for Koolfrogg is 2 fingers up for Joe Biden. Yep, exactly. Flip that piece of shit off. Tell him how worthless he really is by hitting this like button. That's exactly what you need to do. Just do that. Do that. America needs another Calvin Coolidge. That's an interesting thought. Meme copium from Democrat to deplorable. You know, as interesting as that is, I actually have that book. I actually do have that Cox book. I do. As far as that goes, it's a decent book. What changed you from Democrat to Republican, Frog? It was back. Seriously, walk into the polling place to actually vote. It was the difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And as I'm standing there getting ready to actually mark it for Hillary Clinton, it just seriously come over me like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't know enough about her or Trump to actually say that I should go one way or the other. And for whatever reason, I voted Trump. Then I walked outside. As I walked down the street to walk home, because I was only 4 blocks away from my polling place, I go walk home. I walk into the door. I went and ordered myself a history book. I ordered the history book. As soon as the book got there 2 days later, I read through the whole damn thing. I'd never read a history book before. I never paid attention. I didn't care when I was in school. Nothing in school ever actually excited me enough to actually make me want to actually pay attention to any of it. I was dumb as fuck. I just did not care. Educating myself on where Democrats actually came from, what they've always been about, what they've actually done, and why I actually did what I did, really seriously made me think, if that can change me, I can change others. I can hopefully get through to others and make them change their mind on what they were actually doing. And if I could change somebody else's mind to something other than what they actually were, I seriously, it floored me to actually think that it was okay for me to do what I had been doing as an uneducated person, voting for a Democrat. That's pretty much what changed me, was just that day alone, sitting in that poll box and actually trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. And it just came over me. I'm like, I can't do this Hillary thing. Just can't do this Hillary thing. And turn around and actually started reading and paying attention. Democrats are cotton picking. Yeah, I mean, you can call it what you want. When it actually comes down to it, that's the one thing that actually floors me the most, is this thing of slavery that had happened in the past, and where that actually, had actually started. There was actually more blacks that owned blacks. There was quite a few actual indentured servant white people that actually came from England that were also considered slavers. It's just like, when you actually look at it and you actually look at legit history and you actually see where that actually comes from, and you actually realize who was actually controlling the people that were actually picking the cotton, you actually realize that it was not white people owning black people. That's not what it was, ever. Yes, there were some. Not going to deny that. But to deny the rest of it and actually say that blacks didn't own blacks, whites didn't own whites, blacks didn't own whites, is wrong. There's always been slavery in this world, not just here. Not just here in the United States, ever. Almost every single nation at one point in time owned straight out slaves. Go back, look at the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire that no longer exists, and you actually look at what they actually did. Every single one of their slaves was white. Still, yeah. I mean, you can actually look at, simple things like minimum wage. Minimum wage in itself is a form of slavery. So, I mean, there's so many things that actually go along with it when it actually comes down to it. Ireland, China, yep, exactly. There's so much history that people do not realize, and they just kind of they're like, oh, we only know about this. Yeah, do you know about the rest of it? Can we actually inform you on the rest of that? Can we actually let you know exactly where everything was? Where are slaves now? China, Muslim Uyghurs, Congo. Where do you think all the uranium deposits come from? I mean, you really seriously, you got to actually look at everything and actually realize where this truth actually is. You can't just say it's one side or the other that actually did it, and it's this, that, or the other. But you damn right, when it actually comes down to the majority of things that have actually happened in this world, a lot of it seriously came from that Democratic Party actually thinking that they're the ones that get to make the rules. They're the ones that actually get to create things like the KKK, like the BLM, like Antifa, like whatever else is actually occurring, and it's just not right. Libya, yeah, there you go. Don't forget, created by Hillary Warsh. Yep, and I see a couple of you actually hit that. Obama, Hillary, Libya, There's so much information out there that people are so ignorant to. They don't understand. I'm just going to actually stop sharing that screen because what's the point? What's the point? We've pretty much gone past of actually even realizing what he was actually going to say, what he even said. We'll just kind of remove that and we'll actually just continue doing what we're doing because maybe this is better than what I had actually thought that would actually be. So, you know, like I said, you know, I've come from that Democratic side. I actually know what it was like to actually be a Democrat and actually, you know, continue to be as dumb as I was and paid attention to, you know, mainstream media narrative and what that was all about and realizing that was the dumbest thing I'd ever done. Dumbest thing I had ever done. And I should have actually I should have paid attention in high school. I may have actually liked history class if I would have actually paid attention. I'm Aussie. My lineage moved from Ireland 6 generations ago. Do I sue UK government for reparations? What do I get? 5,000 potatoes. Reparations in itself, I think, is dumb. I really don't think that it should actually be something that should ever exist. Nobody should ever be thinking, oh well, you know, how do I get money out of the government? Because it's not the government that pays you. It's us. It's us as humans that pay taxes to the government that would be paying you. So, if you really want to pay yourself with your own tax money, I mean, other, you know, if you're going to go after a different government, you know, whatever, maybe, but you're not taken from their government. You're taken from their people that actually pay taxes, and that's who's paying for it. We're not physically, you don't deserve a dime. Yeah, right, exactly. And that's the thing is when you actually go back and you look at it and you're like, well, oh, my great grandfather was a slave and was enslaved by you know white holders and I think that white people should pay me because my you know 6 you know generations away from me was actually you know enslaved by them. You owe me money. We don't owe you shit. Nobody owes you anything ever. You want something, work for it. Make it what you will, how you will, and that's the only way you actually make anything worthwhile. Otherwise, if you're going to go back and you're actually going to try blaming somebody else for your downfalls, nah, that'd be like me blaming everybody for my downfalls because I was an idiot and I didn't pay attention in high school. I sat around doing the same thing that everybody else did and didn't pay attention, didn't give a fuck. And now that I'm, you know, at the age of 45, that I should actually go back and actually, you know, sue my, you know, my school board, my, you know, from my hometown and go sue them for actually not paying attention to us and not educating us properly and feeding us lines of bullshit. 98.7% Irish here. Our family's land was stolen and we're indentured, and my brother still has Irish. Need to apply. Signed from Brooklyn. I mean, that's interesting. That's interesting. But are you going to go along and you're going to say, "Oh, you need to pay me for that"? You need to pay me because you know I feel that reparations should be paid toward me. No. People don't get reparations. Are your money paid now for something you didn't do? Yeah, it's so stupid to actually believe that that is something that should actually be. Anybody that thinks that they should get reparations, you know, because somebody else was enslaved or whatever. I mean, we can go back. We actually covered Kamala Harris at one point in time when we were actually talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson picking up her spot because there was potentiality that they could actually select Kamala Harris to actually take that position or whatever. So he brought her into play, just whatever, to throw something else in there. And you actually look at her lineage, look at her history, look at what her great grandfather did in Jamaica, how many slaves they actually owned. Oh, who should pay who? Kamala Harris maybe should pay somebody for their reparations. Maybe there's so much history behind everything, and there's so much that people just don't know. And they refuse to actually look it up. They refuse to actually look into it and say anything different. It's really kind of stupid and scary. Again, 72 watching and only 37 likes. Y'all don't want to talk to me. 72 if you just want to sit around and listen, don't want to actually talk, don't want to actually ask any questions. See if you can't spin this a little bit and try something a little different. I mean, let's go. What are you waiting for? Right, that's like 50%. It's ridiculous. What are you doing? Come on, concurrent voters, viewers, let's go. Talk to me. Give me your opinion. Give me your thoughts. Give me something to go off and say, well, what about this? What about that? And maybe I'll have an answer. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have another question. Maybe that'll actually create something else to actually happen where I actually question something else, which would actually, make me dig up something to actually give you an answer next time. Let's go. Let's do this. Anaka Adventures says, please don't bully me, Koolfrogg. Senpai. Do it. Instead of bullying you, I'll threaten you. Do it. Do it or else. It's not that hard. I really won't do that. I won't force you to do it. But while you're here, hitting that like button will just kind of, it increases that algorithm, pushes it out to more people, and more people get to actually see what's actually happening. I'm dead tired. Work was long. Hope your night was well. Love you too, Ash. You have a good night. Sleep well. I'll talk to you. I'll be back. I'll be back Tuesday. I'll be back Tuesday. Yeah, see, like she said, smash it with love. Caress it. Make it feel good. Just be like, oh, like what? Oh. For no reason, smash the like and give it two middle fingers to Joe Biden. Just do it. Barbara's right. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. I particularly like when they put the Irish at the end of the sign. Right? That's ridiculous. No questions. The Democrats are horrible, but the Republicans have only been less bad by comparison. Even with them in power, we've still been going down this road of big government and less freedom. I agree with you, Goalie. I mean, Republicans aren't the best either. I get that. Especially these ones that they call themselves Republicans, but are really actually just Democrats in disguise. There's so many of them. And it's really kind of disturbing when it actually comes down to it, how much government actually thinks that they're the ones that actually control everything. They're just supposed to be there to represent us and what we want. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be any other way but that. That's how that's actually supposed to work. They're actually supposed to work for us. And when they stop working for us, we're actually supposed to actually turn around and change the government, not the other way around. That's not how it's supposed to work. But we continue to allow it to happen that way. And that's exactly where I was going to go next. So the thing is now we got these 20 people that we had been talking about that actually are on the other side of this, that are actually stopping things like McCarthy from actually continuing. I'm with them. I'm with them 20 people. McCarthy's not the answer. McCarthy needs to go away. McCarthy's just as much of a swamp creature as most of them that are there, that have been there. Now that these 20 are there that are actually trying to actually stop what's actually happening, we need to actually go along with them. We need to go along with them and actually select somebody else. McCarthy is not the answer to our questions, and he never will. Same with when it comes down to Republicans on the Senate floor. Mitch McConnell is not the answer to anything. He needs to go away. And he's disturbing, disgusting in himself. UK, ethnic US Koolfrogg presidents and prime ministers. Not sure. During the Mexican-American War, many Irish immigrants in the U.S. left their posts and joined Mexican forces because of the discrimination and persecution of the Catholic faith by Protestant Americans. Yeah, there's a lot out there. There's so much information out there that it can almost be mind-boggling when you actually start digging into it and actually looking at it and actually paying attention to what's actually going on. All the way down to the local school board, everything. Judges, school board members, it really there's so much that people need to actually look at in their own local government, because that's where a lot of it changes. We're not really going to make changes in big government. We're not going to make changes in Washington, D.C. They're not listening to us. For them to listen to us is to actually fix the things that are happening in our local governments, in our cities, mayors, commissioners, judges, mayors, all of them. All levels of government, all the way down to all the lowest level of people. Those are the ones that we need to look at. We need to look at all those and change those. If we can change some of those, that'll actually change who they're actually listening to, because they're not listening to us as individuals. They're not looking all the way down to us peons. They're looking at, and they're talking to, the representatives for the state are actually are actually the ones that are talking to your locals that actually hold their board meetings, and there's so much that goes into it that for us to actually just be looking at even just looking at what McCarthy's doing and not paying attention to our own people here in our own cities, it's not going to actually fix anything. But if we can actually stop something like the Rhino from taking that speakership with the constituents that are actually there, that are actually listening to the people. I called my representative. I left him a message. I let him know that he needs to actually stop voting for McCarthy and actually go and start voting for somebody else. Why? Because that's the way we're supposed to do it. You want something to actually happen, you have to call. Do you get to talk to them specifically? No. You leave a message. You leave a message. If they get enough people that have left messages that are actually against it, they'll actually finally get the information that says, oh, wait a minute. Most of my constituents actually are upset with me actually voting for McCarthy, and I need to actually change my mind. Social media has kind of really changed a lot of that, because we can actually tweet out to our representatives, straight to the representative, and just, so that the people that are, so if you can't make it out to make the phone call, Get on your social media. Check your Facebook. Check your Twitter. Find your representative. Follow them. Bug them. Continue to bug them as much as you possibly can until they finally have to come back and be like, I guess I'm doing this wrong. I need to start listening to the people. Because that's what they're there for. They're meant to actually listen to us. Council administration and upper and lower governments need sorting. U.S. and UK. Yeah. This is there's a bigger thing that's actually happened out there because we actually start, looking at other things like World Economic Forum and the stuff that Klaus Schwab has actually been pushing for how long. George Soros. We look at those guys and look at the stuff that they've actually been doing and the one world governments that they're actually pushing for. We might actually be really seriously surprised to actually see that there's more going on than we would actually like to actually know about. There's some scary shit that's out there, and it can get very disturbing very, very quickly. Still only 37 likes, 70 of you still watching. What are you doing? Hit that like button. What the hell? Shouldn't have to beg you to do it. It's not that hard. Doesn't cost you anything. Shorter Cook says WF is evil as fuck. Yep. Exactly. World Economic Forum and the stuff that they're actually pushing for, the stuff that they're actually trying to actually make happen, like upcycling of human beings. Wanting us all to, that's just a small speck of the things that they're actually trying to do. It's disgusting. It's disgusting and super, super disturbing. Okay, well, there you go. There's a couple of likes. 39 likes, 70 people still watching. Come on, y'all. If you haven't hit those links, and I know Darth is putting them up there for you, hit that description line. Take a look. buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Go ahead, support me over there. Hit up the PayPal link if that, or however you want to do it. It's okay. Show your love, show your support. If you can't do it, don't. Just if you can't afford, don't do it. I don't want to put you out. If you simply just can't do it, you're like, nah, I can't afford to do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Everybody else can. Everybody else that actually is out there that actually can do it, let them do it. Darth passed out. Maybe I finally put him to sleep. That'd be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of interesting if that's the thing. that could be fun to actually. Maybe I have that ability that most don't, of actually being able to put Darth Hideous to sleep. That's fun. Nighty night, sleepy giant. Good night, Darth. Okay, just have to make sure. Take a look, glance, make sure that nobody's actually supporting me. Sit there and chill it out, and then don't go look. Just be sure. Yeah, that'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Buy me coffee's triple authentication thing is kind of interesting itself. All right. Nobody did anything. So, any other questions? Anybody have anything that they'd like to actually ask anything that I'd like to actually speak about. Going on 3 hours. It's very fun, very interesting. Um, is local still a good way to support you? Yes. Yes. Just another opinion.locals.com is still a good way to actually support me. I don't do enough over there, or whatever, but if I remember to do it, I actually go and I put the streams up over there. Looks like I still have New Year's Eve party still going on over there. Just because I don't know. There you go. There's just another opinion.locals.com. You go over there. You can support me through there. That's a fun way to actually support me. Should end that chat over there. Old chat's gay. Yeah, stop that. It's not following you. Somebody's not following me? As of yesterday. Okay. Huh. Good stuff. All right. Well, checking in case you need to switch. I'm supporting you over there. No, yeah. If you're still supporting me over there, yeah, absolutely. I just don't post enough over there. But that's the best way. That's the best way to do it, because then it's an easy monthly support, whatever, that actually does add up very quickly when there's enough people actually over there doing such a thing. It can be very interesting. I'd like to do more. My time frames are really kind of limited in when I can do things and when I can't. What's your opinion on the education system? It's trash. I went through public schools. Public schools should not be a thing that anybody should ever be using. You should actually homeschool your children if possible. Now, I get it. Some people are like, well, I can't afford that. I can't, I don't have the time to do it. I'm not smart enough to do it. There's multiple different reasons why people said they can't actually homeschool their children. If you're going to put your child in a public school, get involved. Get involved. Pay attention to what your children are being taught. CRT is nothing new. CRT has been taught since 90s. It's not something new. It's something that they've actually been trying to implement into our public schools for a long time. This is the stuff where they try telling you that it's okay, that whites are racist, and it's okay to go ahead and identify as what you'd like to identify as, and trying to, show this odd support for, being okay with children being indoctrinated into being told it's okay to be what you want, and your parents are bad. Your parents don't know what's best for you. And what it comes down to is the school administrator not wanting to spend the money to actually put a proper teacher in place, because they don't necessarily like the way they teach you, that they would rather have somebody that has a gender studies degree to come in and put them in that place to teach you. And then instead of actually teaching your children what they're supposed to be teaching them, reading, writing, arithmetic, all those basics to go back to, they're not teaching it. They're like, oh, math is racist. Math is racist because it's going to tell you straight out that 1 + 1 = 2. And sometimes 1 + 1 can equal 3. No. 1 + 1 is always going to be 2. There's nothing you can do to change that. You can't tell me that it's racist because that's the way it is. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. They're actually just trying to actually push their ideologies across these public schools. If you can't afford to do it yourself, to teach your children the proper way, get involved. 2 + 2 = 5? Nope, never. It never had, and it never will. Just no. There's no, there's potentiality for it to actually do that. Nope. That's not how math works. Math is a very constant thing. I'd like to be identified as a Clydesdale, but only in my groin area. 1984. This one? All good stuff. If you don't, I can't just shove that back in there. Some of the things that you should actually kind of start with, something like that. Read the Feathers papers. Just saying. That's some good stuff. There's some great information there for you. You can see how bad I really am. That's where it is. Yep, exactly. 1985. There are 4 lights. I learned in public school. I learned enough to unlearn what I learned. See, and I was too dumb to pay attention. I never paid attention to any of it. Automax is all right. Wait, favorite books. Current book that I'm reading, Midnight Rising, the John Brown stories, whatever, it is very, very interesting. I totally suggest it. That's the one that I'm currently reading. It's not here. It's actually at work in my cubby because I work a night shift job where I actually have the abilities to read when others aren't talking to me. We'll start with Animal Farm. That's a short read. Yeah, that's a decent way to actually start. What did I buy most recently? Common Sense. Common Sense is a good one. It's fairly short. I did buy. There was a deal. There was a big deal that was going on. My whole bottom shelf is all Tuttle Twin stuff. There's a really good deal on it, and I couldn't pass it up. This is like it was 60% off or something. And I'm like sold. I went and I bought it. I bought the whole selection or whatever because I do want to actually try homeschooling my child. I do have a tadpole in the household. He's 3, and I really want to actually teach him better than I was ever taught, and hopefully that can actually be something that can actually happen. Profiles and Courage is a good book to read. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a Stepford A+ top of my class type. And a goody two-shoes dang squab. With Lottie da. yourself some hooked on phonics and get him on as soon as you can. There's some other things that I've been actually doing with him or whatever. So I mean, he's like you said, he's 3. He actually watched last night or whatever before I kicked him out of the office or whatever. He was actually in here with me for a little bit. Once I started talking, he wanted to talk, and he was counting numbers. He started rattling off, 1 through 10. He's actually going 1 through 50, 60 right now. He's actually starting to understand that each 10 or whatever there's another set of 10. So he's some of it's starting to click. Letter recognition, he's actually doing some of that already. If I read off a couple words and he sees those words, another right next to him or whatever, he'll actually rattle off the next 3 words without requiring me to read them to him. Shapes, colors, all that good stuff. He's very, very intelligent young man, and I'm looking forward to actually being able to actually teach him better than I had ever been taught. I really believe these public schools are horrible. Good day, Crystal. How's it going? Or later, whatever, whichever one that is. Have a good day. Yeah, he's very, very intelligent, and it's fun to actually see a 3-year-old that's as smart as he actually is. Down to 63, but yet up to 41 likes. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for actually hitting that button for me, pushing that algorithm out. These are the last ones that I bought that I'm kind of interested. These would probably be the next set that I'll actually listen or I'll actually read after getting done with Midnight Rising. Here you go. The Steel. Joe Huff's The Steel, and you can actually see that it actually says deep state, big tech, big media, China, absentee ballots, U.S. Postal Service, nonprofits and rallies. And then volume 2 actually says access denied, impossible results, the drop of roll, chain of custody, ballot authenticity, system compliance, system issues, and collusion. So a decent series of books. They're actually, I've looked at the back cover of them. Haven't made it into the book yet. Those will probably be the next that I'll actually get into. I do have quite a few books here. A lot of them are history books. History books are always good. Always good to get into. If you haven't actually looked at them, check them out. Definitely check them out and actually look at everything. Read as much as you possibly can and actually understand what it is, what this current government is actually doing to us and why they're continuing to do it to us, why they're still trying to hold people down. Because, the second that we actually all stand up, the game ends. There's a great meme out there that's been out there for a while, whatever, where everybody's sitting underneath it, bent over, and they're sitting there playing their game of chess. The second that the people actually stand up underneath it, that game ends, and they're going to continue to play until we actually do. We need to actually, continue to do what we're doing, and actually stand up to it. It's amazing what kids can actually retain when they're not inundated with BS. Absolutely. Absolutely. I seriously it's amazing what this child of mine actually has learned at such a young age. I never did that with I have 2 others. I never did that with my other 2. I just allowed them to actually go to public schools and allowed them to actually learn that way. Not that they're not smart in their own right, but they believe that I'm wrong in most of the stuff that I do nowadays, and I just don't see it. I don't see how I'm wrong any longer when I actually can see what I'm doing for him, what I'm doing for my tadpole. He's actually he's probably one of the best things that's actually happened to me, though I have 2 other children. He's the one that's actually changed me in the most and changed my attitude towards things and made me the person that I actually am. I'm very grateful for my wife to actually allow me to do this as opposed to, requiring me to do um, what most others had required me to do. Like, I seriously, like, me doing any of this with anybody else around, they would have been like, no, you need to stop. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop talking about this. And they would have left. They would have left because they wouldn't have liked the stuff that I was actually speaking of. My wife is fine with me speaking of how I feel when I feel, um, and teach Tadpole what I've been teaching him. She's actually seeing the growth. Um, I am over 3 hours. I think it's been a great conversation. Thank you all for actually being around. If you hadn't already, paid attention to what we've actually been saying. Buymecoffee.com/Koolfrogg. PayPal link, Locals, Rumble. Go over to those other places. Something actually happens to this channel over here again. It's happened before. They've taken this channel from me. They've ripped it from me. They've totally taken it, yanked it, and told me that I had no right to be on YouTube whatsoever. I went back and I fought it. There's only 2 other people that I know of that have actually done the same thing and actually got their stuff back. Nick Ricada and this young captain, whatever is, I don't, I'm drawing blank on what his name actually is. This young kid that actually got it taken away because there's too many people that subbed to him at one time. There's not too many people that actually get their stuff back and are able to continue. I've actually gotten my channel back and I'm continuing to do what I had always been doing. I know they don't like some of the stuff that I speak of. They don't like some of my politics. I don't care. I don't care. That's what I'm here to do. So again, support all those things. Do all those things for me. Please hit that like button on your way out. We are going to actually go away. All of you that are over on the Rumble side, hit that plusy button if you're still listening, and just hit it. Hit it. It's okay. It won't hurt. 11. Yeah, right. 11. I'm gonna go away. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. Again, don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. Enjoy what you have and share this with everybody else. If you hadn't already been here before, continue to subscribe. Don't leave. Don't leave. You'd be surprised the kind of stuff that we actually do speak of, what we actually go through, kind of different things we actually do hit on. That's awesome. That's awesome. It was at 1,004. There's 7 of you that have actually subscribed to the channel since y'all came in here. Thank you so much for doing so. Please stick around and don't, not forcing you to, but, keep that number up there for me. I do get to apply for that monetization come soon here. And 11 days? 11 days? It's coming. It's coming quick. 17th. 17th, and it's the 6th for me right now. So 11 days. We actually get to apply for monetization and see where YouTube brings us next. That should be fun. Should be very interesting. The more that I actually can do for you all, it allows you all to actually do more for me. Continue to do what you have been doing. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check americashirtsarefirst.com. Only the most base shirts on the planet. Use promo code Koolfrogg. You get 25% off through the end of the day. Friday, the 6th is the last day of that deal. Otherwise, it goes back down to the 15%. Automax says, thanks, Frog, for the good chat and info. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like to involve my chat as much as I possibly can. I know. Some are like, oh, once you get too big, are you going to still talk to your chat? Yes. Yes. I'm going to read everything that comes through chat. If it happens to be where I no longer get to actually produce, something else, and it's just chat, oh well. That's what it will be. You might be surprised what kind of conversations we might have. You might be surprised, as opposed to it just being, oh, this is what I'm going to talk about tonight, and that's all we're talking about. No, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you, because that's the best way to do it. I enjoy talking to everybody. Again, thank you all so much. Everybody have a wonderful night, and talk to you later.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.